Welcome to the Barbell Strikes Back. I'm James McDermott, joined by Miguel Porter. Miguel, how you doing?
Not bad. Well,
Oh,
the weather.
What's wrong with the weather?
I mean, every day is either rain the full day or threats of rain at some point.
Oh, you didn't get the memo that this is how we're going to finish the summer? That
Yeah.
this is what we're going to do now? I mean, we just had the flood. You know, it was just flooding out here in Albany, which is crazy. Looking at some of those videos and photos. Have you gotten hit by the gnats that are all over the place?
Oh no, I haven't.
I think it's because of the rain and the flooding, but especially on Friday when we went outside the gym, they were everywhere. Like it's one of those ones. If you ever had like your car just covered in these little flies for some reason, it was one of those. And you get in the car and like one's in your beard or your hair and stuff. And boy, I hope that goes away soon, or isn't going to be a consistent thing.
I would say the plus of living up this hill is that I think it was Wednesday morning. I got all those like alert texts about the flooding. Thankfully, it doesn't really impact me directly here. One, it's like thankfully my car's in a garage, and then two, being at the top of a hill, like the area of Troy was really effective in some points, but for me, I mean, it all goes down. So
yeah.
I didn't have to go into work that day, so I worked from home, so I didn't really have to deal with it all that much. But yeah, it's been a lot of rain, or I think what's even more annoying is when the forecast shows rain all day or like shows like heavy thunderstorms coming up, and then it ends up just like kind of trickling, and you're like, yeah, but now everything's canceled. And like that Wednesday flooding, I mean, by the time that it calmed down, I mean, I saw posts of like things that were already planned, and people were like, yeah, we're going to cancel it because, you know, everything's so wet and we assume that it's going to continue this way. But yeah, just a real damper on the mood overall, I'd say.
Yeah. I saw some gyms close down. We didn't, but it's kind of one of those things where it's like, you know what? Now no one wants to do anything. No one wants to go outside. Yeah. No one wants to have to deal with this. And then there are, unfortunately, some people that are in trickier situations with the rain and everything, which I haven't heard from anyone at the gym that they had an issue. So that's good. At least no one from our little group had a big rain issue. But yeah, hopefully, I mean, I don't want it to stay this way because, like, especially with the bugs and everything, for your race coming up, that's like out in like a woodsy area, and like,
yeah,
I just would prefer it to not be covered in gnats and everything. As I'm sure you would be too, you know.
Yeah, and it's just really muggy and everything just every day, so they're already out for that. But yeah, when it's fully wet and everything, like the other day I went out for a bike ride and I doubled back to get my sunglasses that I wear when I'm riding, and as I was going back, I was thinking, am I really going to need these? Like, is it that important? And then I went on the ride and I was just getting hit with bugs. Just,
oh gosh.
Like, you know, sometimes you're riding and you can't really avoid them all that much because they're taking up the whole roadway that you're on, but it's just a cluster of them. Like, realistically, probably like over like 100, 200, like little tiny bugs. And you're just like, I just have to kind of duck my head and just go through. But they're just hitting all the time.
Well, good on you for continuing, because like that's like a mood moment day ruiner for me. I'm like, yeah, just packs of hundreds of bugs. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go home. I would have circled back to get my sunglasses and be like, well, let me go see what's going on inside and just be done with it. But yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. It's been, I mean, not to continue talking too much about the weather, but like, what a year. What a weird year. Like last year was awesome. I'm pretty sure I'm not backrooms in this. I'm not putting like rose colored glasses on last year. Last year I felt was a nice summer. We had the games. It was beautiful weather before and after. at the beginning of August, this is when the games would have been going on still or just ending right now. Last year.
it would have just ended because this is my friend's anniversary of his wedding, and that was the same weekend. Yeah.
Yep.
So it was literally the last day was today. Yeah.
And it was great out. And now it's like it's sticky, it's buggy, it's hot, then it's cold, then it's hot, then it's just I don't know. I don't know what happened. I don't know. Maybe this means we just have to have like this lame year right now. But next year, that's going to be an awesome year. 2027. I'm calling it right now.
Let's hope.
2027, great weather. It's going to be a great year. We're going to, I mean, to be fair, this has been a nice year. Like the weather aside, like, of course we want, better temperatures and stuff, but it's been a really good year overall.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't think of anything horrific that's happened other than these floods, but all right. Well, speaking of good things on the horizon, we have a bunch of athletes competing next weekend at the Shatter Slam, August 8th at CrossFit House Party in Clifton Park, right? Is that where House Party is?
They moved since last year. I actually do have to look that up because somebody mentioned it the other day and I went, oh yeah.
Oh, I hope I put the right address in the newsletter. That's all right. People will figure it out.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, so they moved, but Shatter Slam, it's going to be 3 events with a floater, and they've not released the floater yet. Floaters are cool. Back in especially the early days of Fall Face Off, we used to have floaters. We had a double under floater one year. We had a stone over the bar floater one year where Cat was just out there that was 2011. Cat was out there in the cold because it was like in late October or November. And you just had to take your team out there at some point and do max reps over the bar with different stones. So they're cool. I'm wondering what it would be. We know the other workouts, but we should try to guess what the floater will be. But first, our teams, the Weenie Sauruses, Coach Schaff and Chris.
Yep, back.
Making a comeback. Yep, a returning team. I'm sure there'll be other returning teams there. I don't know in their division, but maybe we'll start to develop rivalries. People that we're trying to go toe to toe with each year, and then we have Team Snackosaurus, or Snackosaurus, very dinosaur themed bunch of teams. Nyla and Maria. And I think there's still time to sign up more if anyone else wanted to do it. Did registration close?
I think they just closed it. Yeah.
Just closed it. Okay. So I know we were trying to find Oscar a teammate, and they were asking Mike if he wanted to do it, but he did not. So yeah, those are our teams. I think they're going to kill it. I think they're going to do great.
Yeah. And I mean, I think this was also my goal last year of honestly doing it, of just like an opportunity for if one potential team gets to like view us doing it and that kind of aids them in doing it the next year, then yeah, I probably would have done it again if I wasn't going to do the triathlon. But yeah, now it's going to be great.
You probably could do both.
I probably could
pull it off if you wanted to, but at what cost?
I don't know about the actual performance, but like I could physically be there. Yeah. But no, it'll be a great time. I'm glad. It'll be nice to just spectate. But yeah, it'll be a fun day. I plan on being there for as many events as I can. I might miss the first one, but yeah, it'll be a good time.
I'm planning to be there the whole day. Get some good photos, videos. I'm going to bring cooler from the gym and anything else we need from the gym. I think we have a canopy thingy. I gotta double check. We've had one before. It just doesn't say Albany CrossFit on it, but that's fine. But I want to find one of those so we can have a little bit of base camp, and hopefully it doesn't rain that day. But if it does, we'll be set. We'll have a little home base. And you did it last year, and that inspired some people to do it. Josh did his races maybe that inspired you to do it. I don't know. But
Yeah,
it's like
yeah,
that's part of like the deal with coaching. Like you do things, you put it out there, and people are like, oh, okay, maybe I might want to do that too. You just show people that you can do it. Like even me with my hike, my 7 mile for fun hike race thing. Like they call it a race, and I'm like, who's racing? And it's the people that lap me on the
yeah,
course. Those
yeah, yeah,
those are the people that are racing. I'm not racing, but like I put those things out there. Hopefully, someone else will be like, all right, I see him barely walking around the gym. If he can do it, maybe I can do it.
yeah,
Just try to motivate people and show people that there's also more things to do outside of the gym, and that's kind of a big part of CrossFit is doing other things, using the
yeah,
fitness. We're always in there in the gym, and CrossFit trains you for the unknown and unknowable. Of course, there's bad scenarios where like, all right, your house is flooding and you have to do all this crazy stuff. You have the fitness and capabilities to do that, but there should also be outside for fun things that you
yeah,
test your fitness with. And you did that last year. You're going to do that again in 2 weeks at your race, and like just see it out, test it, find out what's going on with all your hard
yeah,
work. I did the same thing with my hike. I'm like, all right, never done this before. Let's find out. If I live, I live. I'm out in the woods. There's no turning back. So it's
yeah,
and Josh is going to do the same thing at the end of the month, where he's doing his much bigger race. He's doing an Olympic
hmm,
sprint, or no, it's not a sprint. You're doing the sprint that has slightly different distances than what a
yeah.
normal
So
sprint's
sprint
considered.
triathlon, and then he's doing Olympic length triathlon. Yeah,
Yep, yep. And then he told me, well, he's told me before, but he reminded me again earlier this week that next year he wants to do the half Ironman, and then the year after that, full Ironman. So it's
yeah,
like a multi-year progression, of
yeah,
training and testing yourself, and that's a cool thing. And he still trains CrossFit. You still train CrossFit and weightlifting, and so it's just a great way to kind of see what we do in the gym out with other bigger things that you can do in your
right.
life. It's a cool thing, and hopefully more people start doing stuff. So this year we have 2 teams for Shatter Slam. The only reason we don't have 3 is because you have a different race.
Yeah,
So next year we'll get more. And at the end of the month, I guess just to kind of cap off everyone who's competing this month, we have
yeah,
Shaf and Chris doing Avita's Adirondack Series 1 meet. That'll be
yeah,
the same day Josh is going. So a lot of Albany CrossFitters getting out there. Did you realize we had so many
yeah.
people competing this month?
No, I did, and it's cool. I feel like, yeah, it's funny that it all lands like in August, but yeah, I think it should be like especially like in the summertime. I feel like it should be a more normal thing of like, yeah, I think it will
Do
after
stuff.
this year. Like we get enough people to slowly start doing it, start coercing some people into things here and there, and then yeah, we'll have something in the newsletter every month of like, here's the list. If you can't make it to this thing, we got something the next day. We got something the next day. We got something in the next town over if that's closer to you. Like, yeah, it should be like someone's doing something all the time, it feels like.
Yeah. And it makes it fun too, and you can set your goals around it, and it changes your mindset with your training too. Oh,
Yeah.
I can't skip the gym this whole week like I would want to. I have this event that I'm training for. I have to be ready, and that's always the big thing about having something on the calendar. It makes it a lot harder to skip training and to eat poorly and to not take care of yourself because you want to be prepared on that day.
Yeah.
Does it still work that way for you, where you're like, no, I have to go get on that bike. I'm 3 weeks out, a month out, three months out.
Yeah. I mean, I'm in an interesting place with it just because I guess this race isn't really, at least for me right now with my current goals, isn't really a fitness based goal. It's more skill, I guess.
Yeah,
So in that way of like, yes, I will be at all of my swim lessons because I need to refine this skill more and more and more. And like, yeah, am gonna, even if it's just 30 minutes on my indoor trainer for the bike, like I'm going to do that because I just need more time like in the bike position and all that. it's not necessarily training and like fitness level of trying to increase that, but it is very much skill based. I will say the weather has been impacting that a bit in terms of like what I can do and planning. But yeah, no, it's that same idea of like, well, I got something coming up. I can do
Yeah.
my breaks after this. Um, yeah,
And you're the biggest test to your fitness. I mean, you'll run, just keep moving your feet,
right. Yeah,
in the right direction, and now, you can ride a bike and you're gonna just keep pedaling, but the biggest test to your fitness is gonna be that swim.
yeah.
You've been spending a lot of time in the pool. Do you feel prepared?
Um, I feel like I'm always gonna say no. It's just because I haven't done the full thing yet. Um, Again, part of that is the rain. Like they do the lake is open on Tuesdays and you can kind of train there. But it's been storming every Tuesday for the past like month and a half. So that hasn't been happening. Um, but yeah, I do think if it comes down to it, I'm gonna do it. Um, it'll be rough for sure, but I think yeah, we'll get it done.
That's I feel like it's so totally a CrossFit mindset. Well, I'm gonna do it. Like I'm not gonna not do
Yeah,
it, and I'm
yeah,
not gonna quit, and I'm just gonna, even if it takes me forever, I'm just gonna keep pedaling or keep walking. Like I had plans of like taking my hiking poles and going to the crossings and walking 7 miles just to see how long it would take me, and then
yeah,
that never happened. And just the day of, I was like, well, I'm gonna do it.
yeah.
I've been walking every day for a certain amount of steps for almost for 1.5 years. I'm just
Hmm.
not gonna not do it. Like I'm here on the mountain. Oh, there's a hill. I guess I'll go up it. Like, so it's just and then you get stubborn on those things. Where you're like, well, I'm not gonna stop now. Especially
Yeah.
like I don't know if it fuels you. Like when you see other people stop, you're like, well, I can't stop now because they
Mm.
stopped. I don't want them to affect me. And also, they stopped like it did cross my mind. I'm like, well, they stopped in a good spot. That's where I would want to stop, but I don't want to
Yeah,
stop
yeah, yeah.
next to them. So, because then I'd have to talk to them or something. So I'm just gonna keep going. It's definitely there's like is it a stubbornness that CrossFit training gives you? Like what is it? I don't know if there's a term for it. Resilience, endurance.
Yeah, I would say it's like a resilience thing, even like of the mind to just keep on going. Because I mean, there are obviously some things where it's like, no, you got to stop and you got to rest and you got to do all this. But yeah, even like you said, especially in like a race scenario or something like this where it's just ongoing for a long time, you're like, I know I can go at least 30 more seconds and then I
Yeah.
can kind of pull back or I can stop for a second, then go again. But yeah, it's definitely a mindset thing that I think you have to build. And I think it's just a sporting thing in general. Um, but something like a sport that is just ongoing, like the clock is on, is a little bit different.
Yeah.
Like, again, I always say like wrestling or something is similar, where it's like, all right, you can kind of relax if you want to, but the person who's directly opposite of you isn't going to. Or the second they feel you doing that, they're going to go even harder. Um,
Yeah.
so I think that there are certain sports that like create a mindset of like, all right, I need to push myself beyond when I hear that initial stop in my head.
Yeah. And I think too, because of the nature of the training, there's like going in, I'm like, there's nothing on this mountain. And you might feel the same way. There's nothing in the swim, the bike, or the run that will compare to the horror of some of the things that I've done before and the pain of some of those workouts and the challenges in
Yep.
some of those workouts. Like just having done harder, you're like, well, this isn't that. Like I'm not going to have to go up there and do thrusters and pull ups or something like that,
Yeah.
or like even like a workout like Kalsu. Like I have in my mind like a handful of very specific like just the hardest workouts I've ever done. And sometimes I think about those and I'm like, yeah, this next thing I'm about to do isn't that at all. Like this is laughable compared to that. You know, I would much rather do this than to do any of those workouts that were so bad, you know, before. So it's just a cool thing with training, and that's how it trickles out into your life, right? Like you're doing deadlifts all the time, you're getting stronger, you get your first pull up, you're doing push-ups now, and then all of a sudden, you know, your car breaks down. No big deal. I can pick up the tire. Oh, this used to be hard. Now it's not hard. This isn't the biggest challenge that I've encountered. And with the mindset, you know, that you were talking about earlier, it might even just be your car break. You blow a tire, and that would ruin your whole day. You're all bent out of shape about it. But now it's like the way you deal with things, the way you deal with adversity and challenges. You're like, all right, well, let me fix it and move on to my next thing, because this isn't even the thing that I was going to go do right now. So I'm going to just fix this, handle it. It just teaches you how to handle things.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. It's cool. It's cool stuff to think about. Now back to Shatter Slam. Let's kind of run through these events. We got WOD number 1. I guess this is the name of the workout. I don't know. It says WOD number 1, quote, "That's a big pile of shit." Because this is Jurassic Park themed. And that's the scene in the first movie where Jeff Goldblum and crew discover the Triceratops poop pile. So it is in 13 minutes, run a 600-meter buy-in, then go into an ascending ladder of you go, I go, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, dual dumbbell snatches, and shoulder to overhead lunges with various weights for each division. There's 2 scores, which is a run time and the ladder time. I do like that. I like how there's more than one score, and I like how the buy-in is not a throwaway on, well, let's just coast this and go hard after. It's like, well, it's worth points now, so we have to run hard. So I do like that aspect of it. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I prefer this to last year's first workout. And I like that it's 2 separate scores as well. And I mean, it's not machine based. But I mean, similar with like the lunging, but I mean, you get the dumbbell snatches in there as well. So like, even if you are more of a power person, you kind of get that benefit there. No, I like it. And it's not too 13 minutes, I think, is a perfect time frame as well. And yeah, it's really just going to be, how are you planning this with your partner, and how can you kind of make it the most efficient when you get into the you go, I go part of it. So yeah, I like it.
Do you think these odd times, 13 minutes, 17 minutes, 11 minutes, do those throw people off from a time management standpoint, because they're so used to rounder, more traditional numbers in everyday workouts, like 12 minutes, 10 minutes, 8 minutes, 15 minutes, you know? Because like we would probably never see like a 13-minute AMRAP pop up on CAP or something like that.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, today we had a 16-minute AMRAP, and that felt really odd.
Like it should have been 15 or something else.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like once you go below 15, any number feels fine. So like, I feel like you do see like 11-minute cap a good amount, or like I would be okay with it. But yeah, now 13 minutes I think is good for this.
The dual dumbbell snatch kind of taken the place of the row from last year, and it was a partner barbell carry last year too. So this, just looking at this from like an organizer standpoint, if you are going to go off location, this looks a lot more doable on just throwing all those weights in a truck.
Right.
Then I guarantee you last year they were like, never again. Like we had to bring all the rowers over, kettlebells over, barbells over, plates over for all different divisions. So like, I just know that like, if that was a real pain in the butt, that would have been a situation where Murph and I would have looked at each other and been like, well, the dream was nice on paper, but this was way more pain and agony to get it actually set up off site than it was worth. We're not doing this again next year. I don't know if that's the
Yeah,
case
and I
for them,
mean,
but like that's what my mind thinks of.
and you think about like we got lucky in the fact that it didn't rain last year, but the ground was wet when we were there. So even like marking the end of the field, like as you ran down, like the edge was like wet. You probably weren't going that fast. But that, and then if it does end up raining on the day of Shatter Slam this year, this is more easily something that you can pivot.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to sit there in the rower getting it wet or like running on the field with something on you. You know, it's a little bit safer, and you can do some elements inside a little bit better as well.
Yeah. And I'm just assuming that this will be offsite. Because also I don't know what the new location's like. Maybe they have a good 600 meter or like a 200, or it's going to be a bunch of 100s. I don't know what the run's going to look like. But if they did have to move this inside, no problem. Hey, everybody, it's going to be a 600 meter row or an 800 meter row or a 1200 meter bike, whatever they want to do. And then it's still worth its own set of points. And now you have to go. Let's say you're running Shatter Slam. It rains. You have to pivot to going inside. You can keep the lunge. You can keep the dumbbell snatch. Let's say if you wanted the lunge to be for feet, they had to travel. You could just have it be in place for reps. These are all easy changes. What do you do as the organizer for the run? What would you pivot it to? Like everyone comes around you, you're like, all right, it's raining. Obviously, here's the change we're going to make. What's Miguel going with?
Yeah. Let's see. Lunges. So what I would do the run as shuttle runs and condense the distance to whatever I guess makes sense, that it's not a million shuttle runs, but I would make it something significant that like a 600 meter run, you have to hold on. Like you have to go out fast, but you have to like make a decision to hold on to that speed. I would make it enough shuttle runs that, you know, you have to really feel it towards the end. But while condensing that distance, I would turn those single arm overhead lunges into walking lunges and then do like a few lengths of that as well. Which makes it a little bit tougher, but I mean, based on the division, where that dumbbell is going to go is going to change anyway. Yeah. So if you're already doing lunges, I would just have them be walking lunges.
Yeah, I think that's an easy thing to do. I mean, it makes sense, and it looks like they're doing it with dumbbell this year too, which that's nicer for everyone holding on to it than the kettlebells.
Yeah.
I see the run. It's when the score is recorded when both people cross the finish line. You don't have to run together. That does seem kind of like all right, I guess your judge is waiting for both of you to get back, but like you gotta, all right, was he with him? You know, because not everyone's wearing matching stuff. That just kind of seems like it could get tricky. But now if you're going to shuttle runs, are they both shuttling together or can they now trade off? Like they're gonna do 60 shuttle runs and they can go, you go, I go, kind of.
Yeah, I guess you would have to do that just for the sake of tracking for the judge. Yeah. I would say it would have to be one person going at a time.
Plus the space you might have in the gym too, with all these people darting back and forth.
And a good thing about this too is that they're very much on their heat times. So you have to do it in a way that's like, this needs to take the same amount of time as we previously had it.
Yeah.
So you can't have it balloon too far out. So if you are going, again, like you go, I go now for the run, you really do have to condense that so that it's not taking up too much time.
And 600 meter run for a slow team, 3 minutes, hopefully max. Other teams will go much faster than that. If it was a 400,
Yeah.
you'd have teams finishing sub 2. So if you have 300, you're going to have teams finishing between 2 and 2.5 if they're really taking the scoring part seriously, or maybe around that. So your slower teams around 3 minutes, maybe 3:15 if they're really scaled. But the nice thing is no matter how long that takes, they're done in 15 minutes or 13 minutes anyways. So and a slow team starting the second part 10 minutes in, because it took them 3 minutes to do the run, that still should be doable in the rest of it. Is it for the you go I go? Is it you do 2 snatch, I do 2 snatch, you do 2 lunge, I do 2 lunge? How do they want that here? Count reps 1, 1, 2, 2. Do not drop the weights from overhead.
Yeah, I guess each partner has to do the same rep count.
Okay, so we're both just going to complete the whole lap.
So I think everyone has to do 2. Everyone has to do 4. Yeah.
Oh, then this might be pretty hard to finish then for a lot of teams.
Yeah.
Okay. But that's not a bad thing, because it's
right.
You're going to have that team that does finish the whole thing. Like, look, Lewis and Riley are going to just crush the whole thing. And it's like, oh, well, that's cool to see. Someone finished it. And then it's also like, all right, then how many points can everyone else get?
Like that 600-meter run, teams will be, I would not be surprised to see a 140 or like multiple people around 140.
Yeah. They're not going to be running. It's a 600-meter sprint. Who's going to get back to that?
Yeah.
The dumbbells first. And then they're just going to horse through the rest of it, because this kind of is a workout. You can do that. There is some, the dumbbell snatch. I mean, there's a fast way, and then there's a maybe more efficient way to do it. Like you could do it. I'm assuming you have to touch both ends to the floor. Doesn't say. Oh no, only one head of each dumbbell. All right, that changes things too.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So you could, I guess, in that case, if you only touch one end to it, I think the move is just to straight muscle it straight overhead, just touch and pull overhead.
100%.
But if you need to hike it kettlebell style, you can still do that. It's just slower, but the dumbbell snatch always has the ability though to blow out your back. And so this would be if you did do this incorrectly, you could be setting yourself up for a rough rest of the competition. And my back's gone because I just did whatever I need to do. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be cool to see this how this pans out. Any other thoughts on this one?
No, I think it'll be good. I'm interested to see what the times shake out as, for sure.
Yeah. And they don't have, we probably don't know all the teams yet, right? On like who all the intermediate teams are, scaled RX.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they released that yet.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it. Okay.
They did the number of who's in each division, but they haven't. I don't think that email goes out until maybe this week.
Wow, is it AI that creates all these images? Is that really AI?
Yes, 100%.
I want to start using AI. I want to make cool stuff like this. Come on now. See, Miguel won't let me make cool stuff. I could be making cool dinosaurs with sunglasses. You know how much stuff I'd be making all the time? How much time I'd be wasting? Do you know
I have no comments on how these look in a public forum.
You know, like all these graphics and stuff. Well, like for Fall Face Off, I had to make them all by freaking hand back in the day.
Yeah,
all that stuff.
Well, you know,
I was building character. Is that what you're going to tell me? All this, and it didn't even look as cool as this. Look, this Tyrannosaurus Rex has huge delts. I wonder if you put that in the prompt. You're like, all right, give him bigger delts. Actually, he has more delts than, I mean, he is a dinosaur, but I mean, like, than what you would actually have. But that's all right. All right, next event. Don't know if this is event 2 because that one was billed as event 1. These
Right.
other ones are not. So it's possible that it could change. So this next one is Life Finds a Way. And there's a 14-minute time cap, 80 pull-ups, 60 burpee box jump overs to a 24 or 20-inch box, 40 shoulder to overheads at 135.95 RX, and then 20 bar muscle ups. And then there's a get it the F done part, which is at the end, 36/28 calories on the assault bike. First question. What do you think about the time domains? I mean, this is the first one. Before was you had 13 minutes to work on that one. This one, you have a 14-minute time cap. Is that too much the same? Is it actually different?
I would say it's different. Because if I'm looking at last year again, I would say that the time caps were similar, but depending on your team, it might be a different. Like, that's honestly, I feel like just to keep it at slower teams, no matter which one, you are stopping here.
Yeah.
Just so that people aren't just stuck. Because that first workout, me and Mike took most of the time to complete. But then this workout here is similar to the last workout of last year, that longer chipper. And I think we're sub 10 minutes or like around 10 minutes. So depending on what skill set your team has, these still are very different workouts. I think the time cap is more like we got to keep this moving because there will be some teams that are stuck on something and we can't
Yeah.
have them there the whole day.
The bar muscle ups, or even I don't if they even make it there. Like for some teams in the RX and intermediate, getting through the 80 pull-ups, like 40 pull-ups per person, is gonna be a lot.
Yeah.
Then that took some out of you. Plus the first event, you can't. I think the burpees is like the quicksand here, where it's like that took way too long because
Yeah.
of just the way we were attacking it and our transitions and not pushing or sprinting, trying to save. The shoulder to overheads, that could potentially be grounds to make up some time. If I need 20, you need 20, and then we're strong pressers. And then it's the bar muscle ups. I actually think it'll be hard for a lot of teams to get to the bike. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, I think I think RX is always going to RX. I think the teams have an interesting makeup though of like power output. So there are definitely some more machine favored teams. I think this one here is a good mix of being a lighter athlete might help you a little bit more just to get the pull-ups out the way, burpees out the way. And then if you're D strong, it's only 40 shoulder to overhead. So you can break that up in a decent way. And then, yeah, you're back to more gymnastics. Maybe like a stronger team bigger team might have some issues, but I know like skill wise, they'll have that in the bag.
And I did forget, you can do all 80 pull-ups. And then I'll handle all 60 burpees if those are our strengths. I forgot about that part because I think Schaff and Chris were talking about how they were going to break things up, and Chris would end up probably doing more pull-ups. So I forgot you could do that. I didn't see it listed here.
Yeah.
So that does change things a lot. In that sense, I think actually we'll see more people finish this one then. if you can
It
do
does
that and
help.
play
I
to your
mean, you do have
strengths.
to, and pivot in the time where you might have an idea, and then as you're going, you go, actually, you're going to have to do some of these shoulder to overheads.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see.
But
That'll be a
I
fun
think
one to see.
that's a good way to do it too. Like if you want like a harder test, let's say there's more money on the line or something for this competition, you then all right, it's evenly split. Now you are only as strong as your weakest link, and I can only
Yeah.
string together 2 pull-ups versus you can string together sets of 20. So it's like now we're kind of like we just have to get through my weakness to get to the next part. So I think that's one way to do it in a certain situation. But for like a local fun competition, like yeah, break it up any way you want to. We're just counting the reps. So if Chris does all 80, and then Shop's gonna do all the shoulder overheads and stuff like that, and that lets them go fast. I think that's a good way to do it for this type of event.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Oh, and here's the assault bike. So just to go back to the last workout, I do think shuttle runs is the best way to do it. It keeps it so that we're still running. It's just we just can't run outside. Like all of a sudden you add in the machine, and now the big guy that sucks at running and hates running is crushing it on the machine, whether it's a rower or a bike, because it's just all the power output stuff. So I do think that's the best option. I think, putting a machine in that first workout changes it way too much.
Yeah. I remember after last year's talking to Lou, because I think their team got second or third on that. And he was like, we just couldn't on the rower. Like we could do everything else perfectly unbroken if we wanted to, but it's, the bigger guys are going to move that rower like it's nothing. Especially when you get like local comp power output, like you might get just some powerhouse dudes that are just, that's their thing. You put them on a machine and it's over. Like the numbers move in a way that we've never even seen before. So yeah, I think keeping that one running is really important.
Just looking at this next 3 workouts, 1 floater, no final, winner takes all. So it's just 3. So last year, were there 3 workouts and then a 4th announced final? So it was just 3 workouts last year too?
Yeah, it was just the 3. Yeah.
And then one of them was just labeled the final.
Yeah, the last one was just the last one, I guess.
Okay. I'm just wondering why that needed to be specified,
Yeah, because I think they've done it differently in the past. I remember going to one in a Shatter Slam before where there was like a assault runner floater. So maybe this was just like, or maybe they had people with like feedback of like, oh, it would have been cool to have more than just 3 scores or whatever. So yeah, who knows? But yeah.
The floater is a tough volunteer station, because if you're the floater guy, you're just going to be hanging out by that assault runner all day or whatever it is. The action's only when the action comes to you, and it's just the same thing.
Yeah.
All day. The cool thing about a floater is, as a team, you also have to figure out when are we going to go do that. So it's like, all right, you were heat 1, or you were in the last heat of event 1, and you're going to be in the same spot for event 2. But if you do the floater now, that could take away from your event 2 performance. So you might have to wait, but then how does that fit in? Now you're 3 events deep going into the last one where points might be, tough. Did you have an opportunity to do it at the beginning of the competition before event 1? I don't know. Figuring out when you do the floater is tough. I don't know. And they haven't announced it yet, right?
No, I don't think so.
I think it's cool to keep the floater a secret till the day of.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. How do you? I guess without seeing it. Well, let's talk about the last event, and then we can kind of figure out this floater stuff.
Yeah.
So, well, not last event, but the extinction event. It is a 9 minutes to establish a heavy complex, one hang clean, one clean from the floor, one hang clean, one shoulder to overhead. So you're going as heavy as possible, and and you're going to add together both partners' weights. So I do 95, you do 135. I do 135, you do 185. And then we just add it in to whatever we get at the end. So that's pretty straightforward right there. Nice heavy thing. I wonder if we'll see this event as event 2.
Yeah, if they were following the similar format to last year, I think it would be 2.
And that would help with whatever the floater is, because now it's not like Metcon, where do I insert this floater in that might be Metcon-y, within that. Now this is just, you might even be able to use the floater to warm up for this, depending on what it is.
Yep.
Yeah. This will get grippy. I do like that you have to, you have to deadlift it first. So it's always like the unwritten rep that's not there, and you just don't put it there because, you got to bring it to the hang. But you do have to do a deadlift, get it to the hang. I'm assuming it's anywhere between the hip and the knee. So maybe you can just do a little slide down. If we're lucky, you can go from the high hang, because that will bode well for our team, because Schaff is very, very strong from the hips, and that he is not that as strong from the knees. So if he can do 2 reps from the hips, especially that second one, when it gets up there, and then just put it away for the jerk, which it's more than likely going to be way lighter than what he would normally jerk. I think this puts them in a good position. Chris might need to take the bar down to the knees. I think I don't know if his high hang is as crisp and solid as Schaff's is there. And I'm going to assume these are power cleans too.
Ideally, but they don't specify. Last year when we got to the heavier weights, I think most people were doing full cleans. But no, I think the high hang is always a tough one. I think even with us, because we know that it's cheating, I do think, based on last year too, I think they do want your arms to be not bent when you're starting the movement.
All right, just got to do it. Wear long sleeves, be sneaky. Okay.
Yeah, you can always fudge around with it, and they'll kind of allow it, but yeah, it's better to do it, I think, with long arms than bank on bending and then them calling it, and then you have to change your whole strategy.
Especially with all those, if this is event 2, with all those pull-ups and bar muscle-ups coming up later.
Right.
That would be ideal to be efficient on this. There is a special standard in here that RX has to do split. And I find that interesting, because I wonder if what constitutes as a split? Is it just 1 foot moving forward and back? Is it just if the feet aren't aligned at all? It could be the tiniest little split, but you're doing kind of how some really strong guys that don't have good technique and they're all stiff, they'll do the tiniest just split push press type thing. So if that counts, it's not as efficient. But if you're just dumb strong anyways, it doesn't matter anymore for you, But someone else that is going to take their feet apart, that's more work to bring them back together, But then again, it's more efficient. I don't know. It seems like a weird standard on how would you call that?
I think it evens it out a lot, actually. Even if because there are some people, I can visualize it now from even last year of man, push pressing for them might be the best option, because it's the coordinate, they're so strong, but that coordination of, even if you made them push jerk, they might miss it. but they know that they can push press it. And then even if they do the most barely split jerk, that might make them a little bit more wary of how they're doing it. So I think it evens the field a little bit more. And then I think, again, like those lighter teams, yeah, if they're doing the correct split and it's like a deep split, like that's work. But I think it brings those top guys a little bit more level.
Hopefully.
Because, I mean, there are even sometimes where, I mean, Mike was doing push press for some of them when we did it last year, because for him, it's easier to just know that it's going to get locked out. I don't have to worry about stability. This is fine. Like my upper body's strong. So yeah, I think it just brings the top guys to a point where you have to think about it more, I think.
Yeah. I just know that like those quote top guys, like even like just like they're just so strong that even if it's like horrible technique or like barely even what would constitute as a split, they'll still just get it because they're still it's just not, now you're just having them split with one leg in front and one leg back or strict press it, you know, instead of doing it with their feet together. Like, so it'll be interesting to see how that pans out, and also how the briefing goes. Like, this is what you can do, this is what you can't do, because we know no matter what, bringing the feet back together is going to be a thing. But also, this will make it harder for judging. And we do know that judging at local events is very difficult. And it should be your feet get back together and the bar is locked out. Now you can drop it. Yeah. I want to see who gets away with like they do with the mini split and their feet aren't together yet, but they're dropping it already. And they're still going to get that weight. So it's always a hard thing with strength events, you know.
Yeah.
Unless you have a strength event where there's no way to fudge it. It's like the deadlift, pick it up. You know, did they open their hips or not? Once you start going overhead, things do get crazy.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this the other day because they're at the games, they were throwing those weighted bags. Just how awesome the sandbag was from, what was that, 2022, 2023? What year was that?
Oh, the clean,
the heavy one
to the shoulder, yeah.
Yeah,
I want to say it was 22.
Yeah, the Bosnier.
Yes.
Okay, Adrian Bosman. That was a fun event. Like, I still remember that one. Like, I remember it vividly, and like it was just the drama, the excitement. They're bringing out another bag. They're bringing out a bag they didn't think that they had to bring out, which even if you knew you were going to have to bring it out, it's just fun to say that. Just like, oh, we didn't know we were going to bring this one out. Like, just what a great event. I kind of wish that one would have returned this year. There's nothing wrong with doing multiple heavy events like that, and it also it's different than the total. It was just different. I would have liked to have seen that one come back. I wonder if that one didn't come back because that was like a boss workout, so it's not going to come back. You know, who knows? But anyways, we'll get into the games. But all right, so yeah, this is just communication. What weight are you going to do? What weight am I going to do? The weaker person or the stronger person follows the weaker person. If you can re-rack or regrip. But otherwise, I don't know if there's too much extra strategy for this thing. You know, like you can power it until you can't, squat when you need to. If you can power the first two and then squat the last, I don't know. Like I'm sure there's something with that there, but yeah, I think you just kind of just max it out. Just do it.
Yeah.
You only got 9 minutes. That's the time management part is the tough part. How many attempts are we realistically going to have? It's 4 reps. They're quick reps unless your partner doesn't make them quick reps. Like if I deadlift it, I hit that first hang clean, I bring it down, I'm pausing on the floor, I hit the next clean, I'm just standing there with it at the hang. I finally hit that next one, I grind it out, and then I'm just sitting here way too long. And it's like, it should be boom, 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 go. All right, you're up. So you could certainly waste a lot of time on this one. No, any other thoughts on extinction event?
No, I mean, last year it was max reps at a set weight doing a complex, and then it was build up to heavy. So that kind of changes things. This one you could probably go a little bit heavier on because of that. But yeah, it was a different type of fatigue, I would say, last year.
Was it 9 minutes too? Like
I
for the
think it was 9 minutes, and it was like
first
four.
three or something like that?
Yeah, it was like first 3 or 4 minutes was the complex or just max reps, and then going into build.
Well, this is it's a nice change of pace where the non-Metcon fans can kind of have their moment, and be
Yeah.
like, okay, I get to go heavy. It is for more reps than maybe I would want to do, but like, if they were just to put clean and jerk or ground to overhead or something, people might be bummed out about that or upset about that, even though that's what they
Yeah.
all want. But that's what they do every day in class, like, so that's another hard thing about like events like this is like, let's try to make a workout that like wouldn't necessarily have been done at some point at a random gym in the area throughout the year.
Right.
Well, those are the 3 events. God, these dinosaurs are cool. I'm looking at the spectator one. They got spectator dinosaurs. I can't like. I'm just used to seeing AI like give people 7 fingers and stuff. How did they do this? Like this, like the scales, the teeth, like it's obviously gotten better. Oh, this brontosaurus has a bandana on it. All right, never mind. I'm sorry. I'm admiring the AI. So, it's got a trophy. Okay, so the floater. What do you think the floater's gonna be? All right,
It's got to be
Metcon
something that
strength, like odd strength, or skills.
I would say probably skills, but skills are also tough because no, I don't know if it will be skills. Because at
They
least
could
from
be
what I've
time
seen,
consuming,
floaters
or
are
it could get dumb real quick, where it's like max hang, and it's like people doing it for 5
well,
seconds.
that's the thing too. I think it's something that one, it has to be the same thing across all divisions because you're probably just having a couple people who are going to be stationed at the floater event, and you need to be like, what's your standard here? Like, you can't have that.
Yeah. What
So
division are
the
you
one
when
that
we come walking up? Like
right,
like what
exactly.
if we're RX scaled, and we do the
Yeah.
scaled variation real quick,
So yeah, it's got to be something that's like pretty much the same across. If there is variation, which I wouldn't go for, then yeah, I don't know. Maybe it is like a hold or something,
Well,
or
we haven't
like
used a rower at all in the competition,
yeah,
but I do think that, and if it is, I'm sorry, but I think that it would be like lame to do like X calories on the rower in X time. Like, all right, 90
yeah,
seconds per person, we add together your calories. Something like that. Like, I think that that's a little bit too on the nose, too boring. We're already doing burpees in one of the events, so it's not going to be burpee related. If it's jump roping or double unders, you need to tell people in advance what it is so they bring their, like right now, I don't know if I would bring my jump rope to this event.
yeah,
Why risk losing it or anything like that? So I don't know if it's going to be that, unless they have like something cool would be if they had a bunch of different heights of like weighted ropes or something. And they're
yeah,
like, all right, you're going to have to use this implement that you've never touched before. And we have enough to size them up for most sizes. That'd be something that would be cool if you had
yeah.
like a sponsor to help with that. So yeah, I wouldn't want to see like just like a calorie row or something
Right.
like that. What do you
I
think
don't
about
know.
that?
Max wall balls in 4 minutes or something.
Yeah, I could see some wall balls. hit that depth, make sure the standards are there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I do
90
like the
seconds.
idea of doing like a stone over something, or like a sandbag to shoulder, like something that's like,
Yeah.
here is the time. It's very short, and it's just how long are you willing to hold on to whatever pace you're doing. Yeah.
I think that would be the coolest option, because anytime you can get the odd objects involved, they're a novelty, but like no one hardly does them. So it's like it
Yeah.
really does add to the event. These could be like your dinosaur eggs, putting your dinosaur eggs in the basket kind of a deal. I do think that would be best case scenario, because I do think Shatter has those. They have a lot of those smaller sandbags of different sizes. And it would be totally easy to do, like, all right, 90 seconds per person, max shouldered overhead. And
Yeah.
you could even have multiple teams going at a time if you have like 2 to 3 people manning that station. And it's also an easier thing to ref. Like anyone you're having sit there all day is probably not your best refs or judges. It's just so you're going to put them there at the station with something very simple. It touches the floor, it goes over the shoulder. Doesn't matter. So it's like, and then you just got to count the reps. Or if it is a rower, you just got to look at the screen, kind of. That's where that would come into play. So that's what I would hope to see, the sandbag over the shoulder type deal.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you have to add anything to that. I think it would just be a cool thing to have everyone do. And it doesn't conflict with really any of the other movements outside of it's just a one motion weight. We did do the snatches, but who cares? It's CrossFit.
Right.
Over it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I would hope it would be. Other things that it could be that I think would be cool if they have space. Sled stuff, push a heavy sled, like you could do sled shuttles, 5, 10, 15, boom, push it back, high handle, low handle, whatever it's going to be. Or if it's the double highs, just do a little relay with your partner and you just do it once. I think that would be cool, because it's also the sled, the sandbags, they're not going to be breaking down muscles the way other things would, it's just concentric motion. It's just power output. It's just go. So I think those would be good versus something like a wall ball that could really mess you up. Because if they're going to give you 4 minutes to do max wall balls, this is an event. This isn't a floater. Imagine the damage you could do in 4 minutes, even with a partner. And then you have to wonder, is it even worth it? How many points is this floater? Let's just skip it.
Yeah.
Versus sleds or sandbags. Oh, all right. Yeah, let's go do that now. We got time. Anything else that it could be?
I mean, I'm sure once it comes out, we'll go, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I guess space permitting as well. I have to see what space looks like.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. It could be a mix of things. I think it doesn't have to be overcomplicated. I think single modality, single item is fine. I think rowers is kind of just the easy way out. It will work. I think double unders is a hard one if it's going to be surprise. It would work if you give people notice. Hey, you got to bring your jump rope. But you also now the judging is more complicated. You need someone or people that can count double unders, which is easier said than done.
And then you legitimately might have people skip it.
Yeah. Really?
Teams people might not have people who can do double unders.
Yeah, it's not universal. The rower, everybody can do that, scale to RX. And then you could have that moment where hey, and the winner of the floater is the scale team. They came in last every event, but they crushed this one because they're great on the row. You kind of lose out on some of that stuff too. All right. So we want strongman. We want a strongman-y type thing for that floater.
Yeah, I think that would be cool.
There was we were never able to pull it off. But one of the floaters that we had wanted for fall face-off was a Conan's wheel. It's where you have an anchor point and a long pole coming off of the middle point. You grab it Zercher style in the crook of your elbows and walk in a circle. And Dyke Naughton from Cutting Edge Sports Sciences, he has one that would have worked. And so we were trying to get him to bring it over. It just never happened, but that would have been a cool floater to have, where you just, whatever the weight is, we load it up and then you just go for max distance, and keep going. That was always a dream that didn't come true, but
right.
Maybe someday. Well, that's the Shatter Slam. So we have running, dumbbell snatches, overhead lunges. We've got barbell complex for weight. We've got a mystery floater. And then we've got pull-ups, burpees, shoulder overheads, muscle-ups, and a bike sprint to the end. Solid day.
Yeah.
Solid day.
Yeah.
I think our teams are ready. I think I know there's some nerves floating around out there. There's some talks of like, I need to get my pull-ups by next. It's like, no, you don't. Don't worry about it. Like you don't need to put that pressure on yourself. You know, just go do the event, and where you are, and you'll find out even more where you are, and you'll probably surprise yourself too on different things that can happen. And then it's off to the next one. It'll be over before they know it.
Yep.
So I'm planning on being there. I need to talk to everybody, see what things they want to bring, so I can have the cooler, get some ice for the cooler. We'll have a little canopy thing. Hopefully it doesn't rain. You'll be there after event one or around event one. So yeah, it'll be a good day. I wonder if anyone else is going to come to watch.
Yeah. I always feel like we have people dropping by.
Yeah.
At least for part of it. So yeah, it'll be cool.
People popping in. Awesome. Well, good luck everybody at the Shatter Slam. Miguel, let's touch upon the games. We had stopped just short of the final being announced. I think we went over all the events that were announced up to the final, and then we got to see the back roll and forward roll ring workout, 5-minute AMRAP for max reps on those, and then the Fibonacci final, which of course it was going to be like we knew, kind of that it was going to go that route. It's almost better that they didn't create a new workout that finished with walking lunges instead of use the classic one that finishes with walking lunges. I thought that was great. But before we talk about any of the events, I did think it was cool that Pat Vellner got some event wins over the course of the competition, with it being his last one. That I know he said he didn't do as well as he wanted to, but getting an event win or two at this stage, that's pretty darn good. Yeah. He should be proud of that. When he did that, I was like, let's go. Like that's awesome. Because who would have expected him to win some of those? I don't know which event he won. I don't know if you know.
He won the deadlift. He won the snail one, I believe. And I think there was another one that he also won.
Okay. Got it. So 3 event wins. That's fantastic. The only thing I think that makes it sweeter or better is if he finishes in top 10 or something. I don't know what his final placement was, but still pretty good.
I think he was around there.
Yeah. And to be around there, like, it was like 14 or 13 or something like that.
Yeah.
So to be around there at this age for this many events at the biggest, the hardest CrossFit Games, quote unquote, I think is a huge accomplishment. And who knows, maybe if it wasn't as hard or something like that, maybe he does finish top 10. He's still got it. But I think all the tests considered, he had a phenomenal last games. And he had the best not dismounts, but misses on that backward and forward roll workout. Like he would just fall completely flat and not even put his arms out. He's just like, and I'm going to hit it with my face, which I maybe he didn't have time, or maybe maybe in the back of your head, you're like, well, if I put my arm out, what if I tweak my arm?
Genuinely, yeah. And I think coming from a gymnast background too, I think he is probably falling the best way possible. Which is just
flat.
like, I know how this mat feels. It's not going to hurt my face. Like, it'll feel weird, but like, it'll be fine if I try to fall in a weird, especially because of the way that they're falling off the rings. Like, you really don't know, like, your finger could hit first or something. And like, yeah.
Now you have an issue. Did, no, he didn't. He did well on that workout. I remember. I can't remember if he won his heat or if he just scored really well. There was a moment where I may have thought he could have won it or was on track to win it. But I could be wrong. I could be misremembering. But overall, what do you think about Pat's final games?
Yeah, I think that's probably best that he could have wished for, especially with almost not qualifying.
Yeah, he had to qualify online.
He was, I think, the last or second to last place for the online semifinals, which was the last shot to make it. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Luckily, he did not go out sad. So that's good.
Well, that's what we were speculating on many, many shows ago, where we were like, hopefully he does, because he had announced that it's going to be his last thing. And now we were talking about how awkward it could be if he doesn't even qualify now and just has to make the black and white, games photo Instagram post. Like, well, I didn't make it, but this was a good send off. Do you think CrossFit should have done? Obviously, they can't do this for everybody every time someone wants to stop, right? But like they did the thing for Brooke Wells last year, where there was a whole video montage thing about it being her last games, but they didn't do one for Pat. And he did put out advance notice that this was going to be his last one. And I think his accomplishments at the games overall are way more than hers. Like he was second and third year after year. Like the dude would, I mean, it's just always like a frustrating thing if you're that person. You would be champion if you just weren't having to go at the same time as the greatest of all time. Like that always, it's like Andy Roddick. I loved Andy Roddick back in the day for tennis, but he just happened to be coming up and being so awesome when Roger Federer was coming up and about to be the greatest of all time, and then also overlapping with Rafael Nadal, who some would argue is the greatest of all time, and then Novak Djokovic, who could possibly, it just gets ridiculous at a certain point in some sports.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Is it weird that there wasn't like a thing on him? I don't know if they did anything at the awards ceremony.
I don't think so, because I mean, that's why also this year I think was also weird for him to say like, I'm back. But I think it's because he openly criticized CrossFit. Rightfully so. But I think when you're in that position of like ruffling feathers, even if they are like, we appreciate you and all these things, like you're not going to get the same type of send off as like someone who's just quiet and like, I'll go with whatever CrossFit's doing. Because I even think about it now. I was taking a look at like showcasing, and I was looking, they had like a champions wall with all the former champions and like the years and everything. And I was like,
that's cool.
Of course they still have to have Annie up there, even though Annie's very critical of them. And then they have Laura up there as well, who's like, she won her year, withdrew that next year, and then I don't even think she's ever said the word CrossFit since. So I'm always questioning that type of thing of like, how are they going to approach that going forward? Will there be like a set amount of time? Like once we get a few years from this, we'll start to put them back in like montages or whatever. Yeah. So I don't know if it's that.
If it is that, I think CrossFit needs to get over that. Like the WWE, this is not a real sport, but like sports entertainment, they have a terrible thing that they do that I think is terrible, where when someone is ostracized from the WWE, or maybe even they do something bad or something, they erase their entire history. So like you'll
Yeah.
see all the Royal Rumble winners, and then there'll just be a blank spot for 1 year. And I'm like, I know Vince McMahon won that year. And it's like, well, yeah, but we've erased him now. He's not associated with us anymore. And like, I hate that so much. It's so dumb to do that, to tarnish your own sports history and legacy like that. And look at other sports. Like, I'm pretty sure Michael Jordan had opinions on the NBA. I'm pretty sure Kobe and Shaq and Tom Brady in the NFL, he had scandals and stuff like that, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah.
Like, but they still treat them like there's what you do on the field, what you do off the field. And it's like if you're criticizing the director of the games and stuff off the field, what CrossFit should be the number one. It's a free country. You can say what you want, all that stuff. And they act like that. It used to be like that, but sometimes they act like it's not like that. Like, well, I'm not going to do that because you said mean things about me, you know?
Well,
And so
yeah. I feel like every organization it's funny because I can think of 3 big ones who are exactly like that. It's always the people who are like, man, you can't say anything. You can't criticize anymore. You can't say this and that. And then it's like you said, like WWE, it's the UFC, and then it's CrossFit, where it's like, but don't say anything bad about the actual thing because then they'll get mad and then you can never sit in the events anymore. They won't sell you tickets. They won't do all this stuff. I don't know if you know, like the New York Knicks are like that. The owner of the Knicks is people hate him, but he does stuff like that. Like he has this whole network of like checking people's tweets, who can go in the Garden, who can sit courtside, who can get free tickets, who can even if they bought them, there are some people that it's like, you can't come. There were like former players who like spoke out about how he ran like the team and stuff. And they're like, you can't sit at the Garden anymore. Like, I think it's similar. And I think other sports have this, but it's in the form of the Hall of Fame, which is like an official thing. And it's based on votes. Not everyone is specifically in like the NBA or the NFL. It's like they get a committee of people that's like way larger. But part of like what goes into that voting is like, I don't like the guy though. He doesn't have a good personality. And that's that like first ballot or whatever, like unanimous MVP versus whatever, because sometimes you just might get someone who's like, I don't like the guy, so I'm not going to vote for him.
I hate that. Really,
and since CrossFit is like so young and like unofficial, honestly, they don't really have structure behind it, that I think they kind of just pick and choose based on how they're feeling at the time.
Yeah. It's not a good look. It's for any of those organizations, you know, like it's way, especially, gosh, if I'm Miguel, if I'm the owner of the Knicks, do you know how little I care about anything? Like, all right, I'm the owner of the Knicks. Former player says this, but I'm like, yeah, all right, let me just rub my face with my $100 bills and, you know, my tears. Like, I would just be like, I wouldn't even be there. I'd be like on an island somewhere and be like, he said what? Oh, all right. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That'd be it.
But it's like power.
Or,
and like people
or
who
I would
have
also,
power.
I would call you. I'd be like, Miguel, what's going on? Because I
People have
can
said
call
this
you.
as well, where they're like, we've never gotten a call. We never got to hash it out, whatever. But I mean, like, again, I think people who aim for power and to run these things are also their ego is so fragile, because it's like, what else do you have? You have all this money and all these things, and you're like, that's not enough for you. But for those people, it'll never be enough for them.
Yeah.
So they also need to control and be like, now nobody will ever criticize me because look, they won't get a slideshow when they retire. Like, that could be it. It could be something like, I mean, this whole time they're like, we did do a slideshow for Pat and we just didn't see it. But like,
did they really?
Yeah, I don't know. But
well, it's like, all right, let's say, all right, Miguel said something. I would call you from my island, by the way, which you don't have one of those, but I'm the owner of the Knicks. So I'd call you from my island, like I'm being fanned and fed grapes and everything. I'm literally a king on this island. I'm like, hey, I heard you said a mean thing about me and whatnot. And can you just can we talk about this? And then we would hash it out. And then somewhere on that call, be like, you know what we should do? We should get together and do a press conference and make up, and then like do a buddy shirt and make money. Like, all right, let's do that. You're like, that's like just like every conversation like that should end with, I'm sorry, you're sorry. Now let's make them spend more money on both of us.
Yeah.
Like, because we can, and they will. They will, let's make a commemorative, like Miguel and James makeup shirt 2026. It's got gold and everything all over. The super fans will buy it. We'll wave and kiss babies, and we could still hate each other behind the scenes. But like, this is business, and business doesn't get affected by the personal stuff. I don't know. That's how I would operate. Is that how you would operate?
Yeah, I mean, but again, I think it's a bigger thing of like, does absolute power corrupt? Absolutely. Or do the people who seek that type of power just have one personality all the time?
Yeah.
Like, can you only get to that point by being that specific type of person anyway?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question, because I do know people change too. So it's like, but were you already that person and the money just brought it out? But then again, if you didn't get the money, you would have stayed. I don't know. It's a hard question. It's all very dumb. That they all so many organizations do this, and it's like, especially CrossFit. I would say CrossFit's too small to do this.
Yeah,
that's another thing.
It feels really weird, because it's like you're gonna bump into each other.
You're gonna bump into each other. It would be, the thing to do would be, get him on a call like this. Let's talk about it. And you know what? You're going to get so many views and monetize those views. Even if you don't end it eye to eye, that conversation is going to make the business money. And it's good to keep people like that in the fold. Like, he's not out there saying tear down CrossFit. He had an issue with the tragedy that went down, as everyone did. Everyone was affected by that. I don't know why. I don't know. I think you make it didn't have to be a 10-minute video. If anything, that Brooke Wells video was too long. I remember sitting through it, and it's like, this could have been 5 minutes or whatever. It felt like 10 minutes. So just make 3 5-minute or 3 to 5 minute videos, something small, and just put it out there, and people will love it. And it'll be, you remove those things of negativity from the sport, where it's like, they didn't make one for him. Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, here's why. If anything, it's like, oh wow, okay, CrossFit was big enough to make him one. Because I've also heard it explained that those things aren't taken into account, and anyone can compete at the games, like if they qualify, things like that.
Yeah.
But then you do little things like that, which are clearly a slight. But also, can you do this for everybody? What's the standard? You just have to have like a rubric, a standard. If you've done 10 games, 10 years or whatever, I think that warrants it. If you did 3 games, probably not,
Yeah. So. And that's the thing too, of like such a young sport, and like we're seeing unprecedented things. Because I mean, if it's been going on for 20 years, before you're like, this person won 3 times. They're obviously one of the GOATs. And then you're like, now we're 60 seasons in, just 3 wins. Like, now that we've seen that people can win this many times in a row, this many times in a row, this many times unconsecutively, is that more impressive now? Now that we have James Sprague, who won in non-consecutive years, like, is that more impressive or less impressive? But yeah, I mean, because we've never seen it. We've never seen someone win, not win, and then win again. I mean, there was Tia, but that was like gone, not competing that year, not actually fighting for it, and then going again.
And it's like more impressive that like no one would have like no one would have criticized harshly if she didn't win when she came back. Because, like,
Yeah.
well, you just had a baby. That's a lot of stress. That's a lot of work. All these things. So, like, but it is really impressive that she came back and won, or
Yeah.
that she almost won Rogue. What, 4 or 5 months after giving birth, and
Yeah.
deadlifted 400 plus pounds as well. Like, that's kind of insane.
Yeah.
All on its own. Yeah, James Sprague winning in non-consecutive years, I think, is a good. The sport kind of needed this. We needed to
Yeah.
see that this could happen. Otherwise, it's getting a little stale on the podium stuff, especially when the trend kind of happens on someone just runs away and the rest of the field's like they can have it, kind of. You know,
Yeah.
I think we definitely needed this. I think it gives the field hope that it can continue to happen. We're still hoping for Justin Medeiros to get that third. I see, with all the criticism that Justin gets, if over the next 10 years he sporadically like wins one, goes 3 years without winning one, and people doubt him again, wins one, goes a couple, he could still get five or eclipse Matt Frazier.
Right. Exactly.
And then, but then now it's like, which was more impressive? Matt steamrolling for 5 years consecutively, or Justin over the course of a longer period of time, eventually coming back and getting better 1 year and then having some off years. I don't know. What do you think about that?
Yeah, and I think that's the cool part of a growing sport is that you get so many more examples, and you have to. These are why sports conversations are so popular, because there's so many years and so many ways that you have to kind of weigh things that aren't even ever, but you still have to figure out a way, like, all right, if we were to take this and hypothetically if this was this, then I do find longevity more important, because I think basketball is similar. It's like Jordan wins 6 championships within like a 8-year span, and you're like, that's awesome. But then you're like, but this person also won 3 years here. They lost 2 years. They came back, they won again, lost for a few years, came back, won again. And you're like, across 15 years winning 6 championships? Because I feel like the mental aspect of that, like if your team is the best team, especially in like a team sport, if your team is the best team and you continue to win, you go, yeah, you guys are the best team. But if you win a couple years, you lose players, and that happens after you win. Even like players move, you go to a different team and you're able to win with different players. Is that not more impressive than winning with the best team that was clearly the best team? So I
Tom
think same
Brady
thing
going
with
to Tampa Bay. Like,
right.
I know people hate Tom Brady, but like, come on. Like,
Yeah.
that's impressive to go and do that.
And it's like Pat Vellner, his first year getting on the podium again. And then 8 years later, like he loses to Justin in like a really close one, where it's like, maybe he should have won it that year, but Justin was just doing everything correctly. And then a couple of years later on the podium again, and you're like, I don't know, that might be more impressive than like somebody just had really good years and they were able to peak higher than your peak, but your consistency across all these years, that again, we haven't seen that many people competing at that high level for that long of a time. Like even I would say, to pivot a little bit, like Noah Olsen winning Masters this year. I think that, which I guess people looked at Masters differently like a few years ago, because it was like, these are just the old guys. But it's like he was competing against all former individual athletes at this division now. So it's like, that is impressive. I think that adds to his legacy as well, where it's like, this is your 12th or 13th year going to the CrossFit Games, and now you win as a Masters. I think that adds something versus like, again, only competing. Like, let's say a person came in for 2 years, won both times, and then was like, I'm done with CrossFit. And then you go, well, would they have lost the next year? How would they have fared if they kept on going across the time?
Yeah, and we're seeing a little bit of that in weightlifting, at least on the Team USA side. You've got like Travis Cooper, who's doing all the master stuff and winning and competing. The 35-year-old age group. There's a lot of heavy hitters in those
Yeah.
because they're all aging into that together from
Hmm.
10 years ago. But also, he still qualifies for nationals. He could still qualify if he pushed, and that was his main goal for a world team, maybe for Pan
Yeah.
Ams or something like that. Like to to still have that ability is like really impressive. And I think wasn't there a CrossFit Games athlete this year that they could have done masters, but they decided to go open or like
Um,
the regular age group? I thought I heard something like that.
I'm not sure. There were some people who were kind of on the fence, but I'm not sure if they did qualify for individual.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, it's just I think that to go back, CrossFit needs to be doing everything to facilitate the growth of the sport. If we're saying the sport is that important, which I think the methodology is more important. I see where the sport helps. I understand the thought process of reining back the games at one point to do more with the affiliate stuff.
Right.
I think if you're gonna grow it, I think you have to get rid of this. You have to get rid of the feelings,
Yeah.
which you would have thought that they weren't there already, because they already do so many things kind of seemingly without feelings, like
Hmm.
that. It's just very cold and very just like, nope, nope, this is what it says, this is what you do. And then you have that instance, and I know because I follow the barbell spin, they had an issue where they were trying to get a booth, and one of the guys had said criticizing things about the games and Dave Castro, and then he was kind of banned. He wasn't going to be allowed to be in the booth that they were going to be purchased. And it's
Yeah.
like, come on, these are people saying things on the internet, like in long form conversations, which it's kind of just like you're just shitballing with someone else it's like being at the gym in the hallway just talking for an hour. You're gonna say all
Right.
kinds of things. The only problem now is that it's recorded and people's feathers get ruffled and stuff like that, or they insert themselves into the conversation instead of just listening to it.
Right. And it's not even like, and because of that, I won't be supporting CrossFit. I will be holding an anti-protest in the booth that CrossFit paid for. It's like the criticism is a part of the thing. Like ESPN, they're talking about like the NBA have done this better. The officiating needs work, all this stuff. And it's like all of this is because these people love the sport.
Yeah.
And it's
Who's
like
that guy?
overall, they're bringing more eyes to the sport, right? Because now people who are like, I think the way that you think barbell spin, even though it is criticizing, I still want to support this. And I think this criticism will help the sport get better. And now when you're like, those people can't come, now those people who are like, I agree with them though. Should I also not be watching because
Well,
our opinions aren't
but
taken?
there's also people that don't agree with the opinion who are like, no, Miguel, you're wrong. But that keeps them engaged in the
Right.
sport. And like, you know what? I'm going to go to the games website and see if Miguel's wrong. And you're like, oh, shit, he's right. All right. But I'm still mad about, like who's
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
one guy on ESPN? Steven Smith.
Stephen A. Smith and
Steve,
yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Like that guy has all kinds of strong opinions on like they should fire the head guy. Like I've seen him go on rants where he's just like saying kick that bum off the team, like all kinds of things that it's like,
Yeah.
boy, if anyone was talking like that guy in CrossFit, they would ban him forever. But
Hmm.
he's entertaining to watch. He's just a character. These are just characters, and it's part of the fun for a lot of people to have their little
Yeah.
camps and whatnot. And it's also CrossFit's not doing it themselves that way. They don't have their own. I know. Get with the programming, Chase. He has a show where they talk about CrossFitty type things, but I find it not as engaging as the ones where like
No.
they're just fighting with each other or go off and stuff like. It's kind of more by the books. It's a little too polite. It's a little too, we don't want to like hurt anyone's feelings. Versus if you go over to the barbell spin, they're like, yeah, I don't think they've been working hard enough. They always struggle on these events, and I'm like, oh, they do. Okay, I didn't know that they struggle with that event.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know, and I'm not there for the drama of it, but it's like, oh, you're telling me something that you analyzed out of this that I didn't pick up on my own, and they're not talking about on other channels. They're just kind of keeping it a little too clean.
Yeah.
And if you're the athlete, you shouldn't be paying attention to any of that stuff anyways. You should have no idea what anyone's saying about you. I don't know. Does LeBron know what Stephen A. Smith is saying about him? Which does he even? I don't even know if he says anything about LeBron. I'm just okay. Oh, the way you said that doesn't sound like.
I mean, they've had like history. I mean, I will say it's important in the fact that, I mean, I'm not gonna let you say I mean, there are lines, right? Where it's like there's sports and then there's other things. And then there's like coming at people's character, which is always where these things go, where it's like too far. And then it's like, oh, I just attacked your character this entire game season. Now I'm going to see you in person and be like, you want to come on the show and do a quick interview? No. I think that was the whole, it was Brooke Wells actually. And was it Andrew Hiller, or it was someone like that, or like maybe it was Savan.
Oh,
but they were just
with the elbows on the burpees.
They were going after her for such a long time, and then they were like, she didn't want to come on the show, and it's like, of course not. That would be a terrible idea.
Well, I think like in that situation, if she didn't want to go on to talk to Hiller, it's because like he does say things sometimes and approach things that do feel a little over the line. And I think it's on purpose because I know he's said before that he just wants the clicks and the views. So he's playing a different game. And it's a game where it's kind of scorched earth sometimes. And it's a selfish game because you don't care ultimately if you hurt these people. Versus others, I think, do care and don't want to do that. If it's the Savan podcast, I think it's purely out of jealousy that she's friends with Dave Castro. You know, like she's like he's like they're like good friends and have a good relationship. And I feel like he is like follows Dave around to the point where like he's like the little like the friend, or like you can't have other friends. It needs to be just me kind of a deal. Which is weird too, you know. But so I remember that whole thing last year when like and to be fair, the barbell spin also had comments on that, and a lot of the comments from that last year was like, doesn't anyone in her camp say anything to her? Like, and we even talked about this, like, where's her coach or her teammate? That you're not getting the reps. Like, why would you let her submit that video? I'm sure if you say something, she's not going to fire you right away. I'm sure she'd rather you say something, redo it, and not have all this negative press. Kind of. And also in this sport, I feel like they need season content year long when there's not a year long season. So they're looking for anything, you know,
and they'll drag it for forever.
And you can't give them things to talk about, you know. And also they clearly have favorites. Every one of those shows that we've just listed off has clear favorites, whether they admit it or not. Like they have clear favorites, and then also people that they clearly don't like, you know. But I think it's all okay. Like from what I know about him, Stephen A. Smith seems to be like he's like slid into the villain role almost. It's like sometimes you need a villain out there saying stuff. Like it makes it more exciting or engaging that way. Is that correct? Is he like typically playing the villain?
He has like seasons of like, all right, dude, give it a second. But I would say for the most part, it is mostly positive. Like I think people think that he does his job well. Like,
I would
there's
say
one
that
thing
too.
to just be like a sensationalized person, but like his actual level of like you can watch an episode and be like, all right, that was the crazy part, that was the whatever. But for the most part, this programming is like this guy is watching and there's some knowledge behind it versus just like, here's what I'm gonna choose today to get people to look at this.
Yeah. It doesn't feel clickbaity at all. Anything I've ever heard him rant on, it's like he clearly did some reading or watched that game. You know, it doesn't seem like he was at the game on his phone the whole time and then just said
Right.
something. Like if I feel like he is a fan and he
Yep.
is engaged in it and he just has strong opinions. And sometimes when people rant or talk loudly or other things, people have a hard time discerning between people talking passionately about something they care a lot about versus people being an asshole about something and being
Yeah.
malicious. There's like some people just don't get it because they don't speak about anything to that level of engagement and passion. So it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard for people to understand that sometimes. Like I myself, like sometimes like me and Murph or me and Shy will get into things and they're like, oh, you were yelling today. And I'm like, I was not yelling. I was just speaking passionately about
Yeah.
this thing because I care a lot. But like at no point was I like fighting you. But they might be perceiving like a raised voice or
Hmm.
things, as like I'm arguing with you. It's like I'm not arguing with you. I'm just really into this topic right
Yeah.
now, and I feel strongly about this, which isn't a bad thing. I
Yeah.
think more people should have things that they care about to that level and talk about it like that.
Um, did you see I don't know what they called it, the like trackers that they were putting on them?
Oh, the military thing, or was
Oh,
that
is that what it was?
I saw at one of the things where they were filming them checking in, which I don't
Hmm.
know why I enjoy video of the athletes checking in and going through the whole process as much as I do. Like
It's fun.
it's fun. It's like I'd rather watch that than the actual events when they're doing it. I'm like, all right, and there they go again down the field. But let's see what's at that booth. What kind of lanyard are you going to get
Right.
over
Yeah.
there,
Yeah. Yeah.
Lydia Fish? Oh, you get that swag. That swag. Oh, you get this gear. Like I don't know why I enjoy that more in some situations. But that was a cool thing. It like told you all their vitals, right? And where they
Hmm.
are. And I'm assuming when they start and finish an event.
Yeah.
That's all I know about it.
It's interesting though because it's like they were very focused on the leaders, and it felt like they it's a new thing, so I don't know if like they had talking points ready,
Mm.
but it was like, hey, Amy Kringle, here are her stats. As you can see, compared to the field, she's better in this. She's also better in this. She's better in this.
She's
She's
just
in first
better than
place. And
everybody.
you're like, well, yeah, that makes sense. And you're like, maybe it's not a good example to use the leader right now because you're like, strength per for her size, like that's why she won the deadlift. And you're like, that makes sense in this. And I'm like, show me someone who's struggling and why they'd be
Yeah.
struggling right now. Um,
I'd love to hear like, oh, after that event, Amy Kringle finished and her resting heart rate or her heart rate was X. And that's
right.
kind of insane because that's like a normal person's resting heart rate. And she just did all
Hmm.
that stuff. And if it was me out there, it would be like one, whatever, like I'd like more stuff like that. And
Yeah.
even if it could, I think could you have gone online to look at that stuff?
I'm
Was
not
that
sure
on the
if that was
website?
the same type of tracker as the like trail run type of one or the
Okay,
bike
yeah,
one. Um, but maybe it was. Maybe you could look up those stats.
yeah. I'm sure someone's going to do a whole deep dive on that
Yeah.
at some point. But yeah, that was a cool thing. It it did seem a little weird on day one with some of the coverage, I don't know what happened there. You know, it seemed like they had some coverage issues. There were different things with graphics and stuff.
Yep.
So I don't know, because CrossFit has a whole department now that does that stuff. I don't know how you make those mistakes for the big one. You know, when and whenever
Yeah.
CrossFit makes these types of mistakes, I'm just like, because it's kind of been the common theme on like there aren't enough people working there and they have to work on multiple levels of the business. But I don't know how you have like some athletes who have the wrong name or their name is spelled or things like that. I
The
just don't know
country
how.
is wrong.
Yeah, the country. There was something with Alex Kazan. I can't remember what the issue was. Maybe that was the country one.
Yeah.
But
It
yeah,
was like
I just
Ricky too was like Brazilian, and it was like, yeah, stuff like that.
yeah, I don't know how you, because that's not like the stream isn't working because the internet cut out on this day or there was a power outage in the area. Like that's just like someone had to have set that up. And like, was it outsourced? Is it my fear is that some of it is back to AI related, because
Yeah.
everybody's trying to automate everything and have AI do everything. And like, oh yeah, if you upload the spreadsheet, AI will do all of that for us, and then we just pump it out at the games. And but it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, but a human should probably check it after. And
Hmm.
I don't know if that's happening. You know,
Yeah, because it seems like, I mean, if you're in the YouTube chat, they're catching things. But
yeah,
I think you're right with like maybe it's AI doing some things, because it seems like if someone in the YouTube chat is catching this, that should mean, all right, quickly that goes to the guy who's running that table, have him switch that out so that it's gone in 10 seconds, 5 seconds. But if you have a system that's automating it, you have to go like, all right, we'll get that fixed by next event, or like next time we reload the stream. Because it doesn't seem like someone is hands on top of it.
yeah, yeah. Not, I mean, we're kind of on the subject. If if everyone figures out how to automate everything with AI, what is the point of you? What is the point of paying you after you've
Yeah.
automated your entire job? Are you automating yourself out of a job? I don't know. Are you actually going to
Yeah.
have more time? And then when you have more time, are you going to do anything with that time? Or are you now, instead of doing the thing, your job is now to check the automations and spend the exact amount of time or close to it checking the automations or making new automations instead of doing the actual task, which
Right.
is more fulfilling, I would think, in the long run. You know, like it's kind of like with programming. Like, all right, if you want to learn about programming and do programming, you should read books on it. But if you can just get a summary from the AI, then you missed everything else, all the little nuance that was in that
Yeah.
book, and also just the joy of reading the book, the experience of the book. So you're robbing yourself from the experience, and you still don't even know if it's right.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like the difference between getting AI to go, hey, every time this name comes up, grab this other column from this file that has their country and the flag of that country. So every time you see this name, pull up this information as well. And instead, it seems like they're going, here's a bunch of info, match this up the correct way.
Yeah.
And it's going, I'll try. And then
And
that's what we're getting.
did it save any money? Did it free up
Right.
time that those people on the crew were able to do this other thing and look at the other thing? Look, we wouldn't have time to have done this, but we did. Like, so I don't know. I don't know if I buy all
Yeah.
of it. I still want my AI dinosaurs, but see, I can't do that. I can't make the dinosaur look like that for Shatter Slam. I just can't. It's pretty
I have
cool.
no comments on a public forum on the look of these flyers that
which
somehow
which
all look the same.
which is it's smart, because one day you're going to get questioned by whoever your assigned robotic overlord is, and it's like,
Yep.
hey Miguel, I'm glad you didn't say anything, you get to live another month.
And I'll be like,
And you're like,
I'm also
thank you.
glad, because I
Yeah,
had a
you know,
lot to say.
and then it's like, well, what was that? And you're like, nothing.
Nothing.
You go back to mining your Bitcoins or whatever it is, and it just goes clunking away to you hear explosives and shots from the cubicle down the road. That guy had a little too much to say, years ago. Because that is one of the in almost all of the apocalyptic AI scenarios that you could run, whether it be the trapped consciousness in a computer and it's trying to convince you to let it out, or it's already gotten out and stuff and it can time travel, whatever. The thing is, it always kills the people that were against it or perceived against it, which is it always cleans house.
They've got me on the perceived for sure. They're looking at all the other stuff I'm looking at, and they're like, you seem like you're not a fan. And I'm like, that's fair. That's fair. But yeah, I guess back to the games.
Back to games.
Also, when we talked, it was Saturday. And then the winner stayed with who was in the lead at the time. I think Amy Kringles was fully bulletproof. There was nothing that would have happened on Sunday that would have changed that.
I think she won the first event, right? The row and ski.
No, I think she came in still top 5.
Yeah.
But again, it was like you looked at her previous wins and they were so far across every modality that you were like, oh, there's no shot. Like if there was in strength, she came close to last or 20th in this event, then you could be like, ooh, if that comes up again, there might be a hole there. But it was everything from endurance to quick to grueling to strength. It was she's either winning or right up there. So
do you think if Tia doesn't have her second baby and she's here this year, does that change anything on Amy Kringle's end? Because there's a huge psychological component to both divisions, but there certainly seems to be one on the women's field that just Tia's presence, I feel beats half the field before they even start, because they don't believe they can beat her. And then they don't make sacrifices early enough in the competition that would give them a chance. You have to go for it in the beginning and can't let her get her footing on a huge points lead, but you might be risking finishing 10th versus 18th. But you need to have a decision going in that I'm going to swing for it. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to try to throw her off balance and fuck up her games. And then whatever happens to me happens. But they don't do that. They're like, all right, let me get some points. Let me get started too. But the thing is, when you do that, she's not just getting started. She starts off running.
Yeah.
And then you don't think you can beat her after that. And most situations you literally can't. And especially if you're someone in the other heats that aren't going to be with her in heat ones, you're definitely not playing the game anymore. And I don't know, is that I guess I'm asking multiple questions here. First question is, does anything change from Amy Kringle's end with just the presence of Tia, and Tia more than likely racking up a lot of the points in the beginning? And then my second question is the heats format counterproductive overall to having an actual competition? Because if let's say if it was just one heat every time, everyone's always together, would that be more competitive versus well, I'm in heat 3, I'm clearly not going to win. I'm going to try to put up a good score, but I know too they'll beat that later.
Yeah,
I'm just here.
Yeah, on your first question, I think there is a level of intimidation from Tia, but I do think it's a little bit less than now, because a lot of these athletes are competing so much more. Again, they weren't going to say it on the CrossFit broadcast, but I think if anyone has been tapped into World Fitness Project, the outcome of this year's games made a lot of sense. Because really, if you look at World Fitness Project, Amy Kringle's only competition is Laura Horvath, who's not at the games. So she goes, hey, it's usually me and Laura, number 1 and 2, who you could argue is like, again, one of the more fitter, Laura being one of the fitter CrossFit athletes of our time right now. If you can go like, I can go toe to toe with Laura and not feel intimidated. When you go into a field like this, then you are going in with like, well, if it's not Laura, then it's got to be me. And I think even if Tia doesn't do that and Tia's at the games, I think you go, I've had tough competition throughout this year that I've been going against. And if I know I can stack up with that person, Tia is still scary, but I have a different mindset going in.
Yeah. She's like scary, and also like I think it's also like her backroom presence too. Like I saw like a clip of she was walking by James Sprague, who was like the leader for the men, and he was on the floor, and she's like said something to him, and he's like, "Oh, sorry, and whatnot," and she's like, "Oh, I was just playing with you. I was just like,
yeah."
It's like, but it's like it's almost like people are on eggshells, not in like a negative way, and it was like, oh my gosh, the goat's here. Oh, what do I do? Don't say anything dumb. Yeah. Don't get in her way, and she's not even competing. She's just there, and she's just like messing with people and having a fun time. And they're like, oh, you're joking with me. Oh, that's nice, So it's got to be like that all the time, right?
Yeah. I think, you carry yourself in a way. And I think even from the years that Tia lost to when she finally started winning, she also carried herself a different way. Where it was that second time that Tia got second, she went in almost essentially trying to win second. Like she let herself get second that second time. So yeah, I think it's a mentality thing. What you said about the heats though, last week I was talking about Guy in the fact that he was winning a lot of his heats, but he wasn't winning events. And obviously there is an advantage to being in the last heat because you know what time you have to go for. But I think that's part of competition as well, where you have to put yourself in the best spot possible at the earliest time possible. Because I think that he does do better on some of those events if he's in that final heat. But you have to earn that final heat. It's the same thing we talked about, like weightlifting and nationals. It's like, yeah, you can put up all these weights in the B session, and maybe there's an advantage to that because you don't have to think about anybody else or have people going in between you or whatever. But also, then the A session goes after you. They know exactly what they have to hit in each lift to beat you. They don't have to overexert themselves past you if they know that
what
they're
you
clear.
Hit is right on the computer screen, right,
it's right
under
there.
Everyone's names.
So yeah, I think you have to kind of earn it. And I think it could be more competitive if everyone just went at the same time. But I think part of the sport aspect makes it separate. And I think that helps the sport in the way of like, this is a part of strategy now. You have to put yourself in the best possible heat.
Would 2 heats be better and make it more competitive, one right after another? Don't even worry. Like, are there too many competitors? Like, I think this year it was 30, right? But then there's some talk about it being 40 again next year. And then they'll do cuts because they have 40. And it's like, how about 20? Like I really enjoyed the COVID games when it was just that small crew, because you were just there, and the storytelling was really great that games because everyone's there, so you're just talking about it the whole time instead of like heat 3, this is the best score, So I don't know, would it be better to have smaller heat number?
I liked 30 athletes and I liked the 3 heats. I think when you go 2 heats of just, let's even say 15 and 15, you have maybe too much disparity. Because I think that first heat that was going on the men's and women's side, it was like, yeah, this should be the first heat. You might get some people in there who are still climbing up and we're like, I just had a bad couple of events. And I mean, you had some people that were dancing in between heat 2 and heat 3, because, they'd have a good event that would bring them back into that final heat, and then they'd have events that drop them down. And I think it's also a mentality thing. Like semifinals, Haley Adams was entered in as like a very low seed. So she was in that first heat. But by the end of the last day, or like by the last day, she was in that final heat and was like putting up scores to beat. And then, I think it's earning that spot.
Yeah.
I don't like cuts, because then just don't have them there.
40 seems like a lot.
Yeah.
Do you think anything changes for Amy Kringle in a big way if Laura signed up for the games and qualified and was going to be there this year? Since that's her biggest competitor from another similar type of competition. And this games was different. Like, so I guess 2 more questions on Amy Kringle. Laura's there, current 20 events. What changes? But also, does anything change for Amy Kringle if this was less events and not so many single modality scores? So I think she racked up a lot of points from the single modality stuff. And I've heard people saying this is kind of like the single modality games. Let's say there's more Metcons over and over. What do you think?
I think within the top 5, it's a tighter point spread if Laura's there, because I don't think that, like, Emma Lawson and Lucy Campbell were a good 2 and 3 this year, but I think that they had some holes that made the point spread kind of open up a little bit more. I think if you add Laura in, she's with everyone's more like top 5-ish in more events. And I think Amy's not as far ahead. I do think that Amy could still win. Definitely. Just with the events that she won, I think that she could still win.
And that final, I have to think, is really tough on Laura if she still struggles with handstand push-ups. I don't know if that's still her kryptonite. But there did seem to be a lot of handstand push-up heavy things. So she's going to get dinged on both of those big time.
For sure.
I don't know. Is that still her? Is she still struggling with that?
I don't think it's as, I think Laura was so good that the handstand push-up thing just became like, that's such a huge difference from all her other stuff. Mm-hmm. Like, she was definitely not great at them, but I think there are a lot of people who aren't great at them. I don't think it's as much of a weakness now, but I mean, it's still probably not it's probably not top 10 in the field, her pressing power. But I mean, they had triple unders, and some people got 0 triple unders.
I have to say, I'm so surprised, because I don't know. All right. Did they not program triple unders in a past games?
I don't think they did. It was the rope skills with like the double under crossovers.
Yeah.
I don't think they did triple unders at the games. I think it was at other things maybe previously.
It did pop up on .com like between 2014 and 2016. Somewhere's within there, it started to pop up, and we were like working on them at the gym and stuff. So it's like, it's not, and it's kind of like almost like this boogeyman that's always been out there. Yeah. And now I guess it's finally made it into the games. But we even see them at the gym pop up fairly regularly on double under days. Like, but it always just seems like they're just throwing that in at the end. Like, dude, this, and then there it is. But it has had a presence. So I was just surprised. But then again, like, there's just so many different skills that these games athletes need to be working on all the time, that some things just kind of don't ever get worked on. I saw one interview, I can't remember what her name was, and she's like, "Oh, I didn't work on these until I saw they were programmed, like, and I've never done one before." So it's just amazing to me. It's amazing to me that there are probably gym athletes that have been exposed to more variety of movements than to athletes who went straight into the games competitive route and only follow programming that is geared towards that. It's very interesting.
Yeah. 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 Because I mean, I was looking, I was like, I would have got a couple triple unders at least. And then you see Amy Kringle, who does them unbroken, which is insane.
Yeah.
At least that disparity of like, I think Alex Kazan got 0 triple unders. I think Alexis Raptis got 4.
Yeah.
For the entire workout.
Surprising.
And yeah, Amy Kringle does what? 60 of them in the workout?
Alex Kazan is someone who sometimes it's floated out there. She could be the next big thing. She could win the games this year. Like she's always like I was kind of expecting her to be podium this year.
Yeah.
If not win it. So I was very surprised. And I know she's coming off of an injury year too, because she wasn't there last year. But I was very surprised. And then the other person that surprised me, she was on the demo team. I think her name is Gracie Walton. Is that who that is? She's got the eyebrows, like these thick eyebrows. She wasn't one year, and I could be wrong. Wasn't there one year where they were being like she could beat Tia, or she's like on like the build up or something like that?
Yeah, I think she was like training with Tia every now and then, and they were like, "Ooh, she's beat Tia on workouts while they were training."
Yeah,
and yeah, she didn't look good at semifinals, and people assumed like if that's the way that she's looking, she probably won't make the online one either. And then, didn't end up happening.
Yeah, I was surprised when I saw the demo team, and I'm like, isn't she competing?
Right.
Because I'm just used to her kind of being in the conversation up near the top. And then it must have been last year where there was this talk of possibly her being like, she could beat Tia on this games or something.
Right.
I don't think that's ever happened before. Someone to win the games, then the next year they're on the demo team because they didn't make the games.
That would be funny.
That'd be interesting. Fittest demo team on earth,
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, yeah, it panned out that way on the women's side, and then James Sprague, I kind of feel like he just had a different mindset. Like, he wasn't like his normal jokey self. Like there are maybe in the beginning, but it kind of felt like when he realized this could happen at some point, he like locked it in hard, and that was it.
I would even say in the way that he seemed so aware of it. I think this is another like competitor thing and like a heat thing, even if you want to go into that. Like clearly he was in the final heat the entire time, but he knew who he had to beat and in which workouts.
Yeah.
Because there were workouts where he was getting 5th, 6th, and he would hit the buzzer and he would be overjoyed. Because he would go, I know that going into it, he was probably like, this is damage control. I need to make sure that I don't lose too many spots to this person in this event. I know that this person has this event, so I have to make sure I stay close to their hip on it. Because, like every time, even the commentators always try to make the last workout sound more close than it is. But, I mean, I think Dallin beat him in the final workout, but by, like, spots that didn't change the outcome. And you could tell that James knew it. The commentators were like, we have to see how the points shake out. But James is like, I know I still won because I know how many spots I have.
And other people, I think Justin even beat him maybe on the final event. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But I do remember, like, because they were talking that way and it's the final event and everything, and you're like, is James going to hold on to it? Like, I do remember like feeling like that thing right in here in your chest where you're like, oh my gosh, like, is he, what's going to happen? Especially when Dallin started to pull ahead of him, because there was a point where they were kind of close and then not, and even a little bit on the rings event where like they were like neck and neck, and I was like, is James going to get back up there and do one more to stay ahead of him? Or he missed one and then Dallin had an opportunity. I do remember hearing that like James talked about how like they're friends, but like he has to like, you have to like your competitors now. Like you have to turn that off. So that's, I almost feel like they're all getting better at that.
Yeah.
Versus maybe in previous years they weren't as good about that. And also it seems like they might be getting better too about like, because like they're all like brotherly friends, that like they'll hit each other, they'll be really pissed at each other, they'll do this, they'll prank each other and whatnot. I feel like they're starting to like figure out their friendship and professionalism in the sport better. And it's making all of it better too, like from a spectator standpoint, that they're figuring this out.
Yeah, because I think that it's perfect. Like the games, they can do, hey, here's our rule. We can all only do the workout once. Whoever gets the worst, here's your punishment for the week, whatever. Because the open that's the level that they're at, where they're like, we could not even really do this workout and still make it to the next stage. So let's play here. Semifinals, we'll joke around. We'll all do it in like one weekend, even if we all want to do it together, whatever. We'll live stream it because we're probably good from there. Cool. Semifinals, let's separate and let's all go to different ones so that we don't have to do that right now. And then the games, even like early on, like they could probably be buddy. But then it seemed again like, because Dallin you could see that he was pushing on some workouts towards the end where it was like, oh, he knows that he needs to make up points here. And they all seem to be a lot more aware of where they were. And I think that'll help them a lot more too as they go ahead.
You could tell that Dallin knew that like there's a chance still on like even going into the last day versus how the rest of the field shakes out, and like he was taking it seriously. And it's like there is probably more pressure on him because he's the one in the group that hasn't won the games. And what a crazy group of friends that the three of them have all won the games. And there's 5 titles among them, which is insane to think that 5 year, it's been so long since Frazier, but they have 5 titles among them. And now he's the one guy in the podcast that doesn't have the games title. I would not be surprised at all to see that dude come back and crush it next year and win his first title. I almost feel like it's kind of like because James is going to have the momentum of being the returning champ, but every year is different. This one might have just shaked out for him. It could come down to programming stuff, but I think that Dallin could be very dangerous next year.
They on their podcast, I saw a clip. They got stats from Morning Chalk Up, I believe, and it was if every event was 100 points, Dallin would have won.
Really?
Yeah.
Like even the total, if each of those were 100 instead of 50?
Each of those, if the forward roll, everything that was 50 points, if everything was 100 points, it would have shaken out that Dallin would have won.
But how, even if you add more points, but they still had the same, how does that shake out? That wins?
Let's say that James gets 6th on a 50-point event and Dallin wins. He only gets up by a smaller point margin.
Yeah.
Because the spread isn't as much. So if you reshuffled it, and then they did it if they also said, I can't remember how it shook out, but based on event wins between the 4 of them, like who won the most events, who came in last in the most events between just the 4 of them. That was an interesting one as well. But
no, that's cool. A cool stat to know. And that could be, I would use that going into next year, because
you're not going to get 20 events next year.
Hopefully not. I think I think that should be it was a special occasion. Now we go back to the regular formatting and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We could be in a unique situation where these 4 guys who have a podcast and are good buddies just trade off games championships year after year. And so instead of having one person just dominate, you have this group that just it's going to be one of these 4, and they're just whoever's having the better thing or the way the test shakes out. And I feel like that's almost a worse way to block out the rest of the field, because the they're all going to have different longevities, and it could be even longer before someone breaks. And that'll be the thing, like who can break that group up. I don't know what's happened to Jeff Adler. I was just very surprised. This is second year in a row where it kind of feels like he didn't have a whole lot of wind in his sails.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's just like not your year. Who knows? I mean, he's also older, I would say. And I would say like a 20 event weekend to like an older guy also might hurt a little bit more.
Yeah. I mean, Ricky beat him on the trail run. And for some reason, I have it in my head that Jeff Adler is the best at running and the endurance work. I don't know where I got that from, unless it's true.
I think it's Hinshaw related.
Okay, Mr. Hinshaw. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So, okay, yeah. Maybe that's potentially something going on there. Okay. Well, yeah. I don't. I wonder. You know, Jason Hopper had the machine games, and he was the big dude. Of course, he won. You know, I'd be interested to see if he can come back and win in a traditional type of games. I don't know. I think so. Justin might win before Jason would win again. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it all depends on programming again. It's always weird because then you look back and you're like, but that was a weird one. And like they're have all been weird ones. It's another thing of like consistency or lack of consistency at the games of you really don't know what's going to get called up next. I think the better CrossFitter of like pure CrossFitter is Justin. But then I think that there are other better pure CrossFitters than Justin. Anyway, like Jay Crouch got third. And I think if you do a purely like Metcon every event, I think that's a Jay Crouch potentially winning the games.
I didn't realize he got third. I thought it was a boys podium.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Okay. Has that happened before? Have they had a boys podium?
I don't think so.
Oh, it's going to happen eventually.
Yeah. Well, what was last year? Who came in third last year?
I want to say Ricky.
No, it might have been.
Ricky could have won, but there's the whole pegboard.
Oh, yes. Yeah. And Dowling got fourth last year?
I think so.
Got it. Yeah.
Were you surprised? I was a little surprised. There was no pegboard this year, which they don't do the same things every year, but the pegboard's kind of been pretty consistent. So I was just surprised that for the 20th, there was no spot in it, you know. Do you think that there was no pegboard because they just wanted to take a year off from it? They wanted to program other things? Or the decision was made because there was an issue last year, we're not going to do the pegboard this year to put some space between it. And that's the decision I dislike the most. But with the way that they operate in some ways, I feel like that could be the reason why.
Yeah, I could see them taking a break. I feel like whenever they have something like that, they take a break on that element. Like there was even like the sled push one where it was like, all right, clearly some lanes are not built equally here. Yeah. And I think you just need to like 1 year to take the heat off. I think also like, yeah, it depends on what you're trying to do. Like you have to look at both fields, men and women. Like they did the weighted vest legless rope climbs. And you're like, is that similar enough? How many? Because you don't want an event where it's like, and half the women's field is just looking at the pegboard.
Yeah.
Because then that's not fun to watch.
At that level, they shouldn't be. But do you think one of those rope climbs was a pegboard at some point on some piece of paper somewhere, and then they changed it to let's just do legless and leg? One less.
Yeah, I think in the same way of like when you're just doing programming and you're like put movements that you're thinking on the board, and then you go, all right, we could add in the pegboard here, but you're like, the rope is more versatile. Yeah. So if we want to do less climbs or whatever, we can just do, all right, add in, you can use your legs coming back or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's coming to that where it's just like we can do more with this.
It's just a very interesting thing because sometimes CrossFit is a very much double down company, but then other times they're like, but we're a sensitive company and we
Yeah.
had criticism and we're not gonna do it this year. Like, I
Yeah.
don't
I
know.
mean, the fact that Tio criticized them might be a big part of that. If
Yeah.
it was just Ricky, they probably would have done it again. But because they got Tia, they might have been like, all right, let's lay low for a little bit.
I was there live for that event, and it was when she started going legless. You're like, what's happening right now?
Yeah.
You know, it was so surprising, and she was apparently pissed after that. So, what so we have James, we have Amy. I don't even know, unfortunately, who won the teams. Was that Mayhem?
No. So it's CrossFit Whip.
Never heard of that.
Which is Mayhem adjacent.
Oh.
They were formerly like one of the Mayhem teams, and then now they're under that gym's name, CrossFit Whip. And it has Angelo DeChico, who was like a teen athlete and has been around Mayhem the whole time. I think they're still in Tennessee, but they've kind of been like under the shadow of Mayhem. So then they finally got their win. And then I think Mayhem came second. And then the Oslo team came third.
That's good. I think it's better for the whole ecosystem when the teams are named after affiliates instead of like I just remember way back it's like, oh, CrossFit this, CrossFit that won it, you know, and then it's all of a sudden it's like, well, here's the super team and they don't even train together or whatever it was, and they had all those issues and they just have a random name. It's like, it's just so much better when it's like, oh, CrossFit Whip, Albany CrossFit won the game. Like, it's just so much better. Especially what it's going to do for that gym itself, you know, overall, if it is going to do something. So I do like that better. And that's cool that they broke away and were able to be successful.
Yeah.
They were talking about at one point on the live stream that Mayhem hasn't won since Rich's last year.
Yeah.
So it's just that Rich hasn't won in a bit. He'll come back next year and be like, I think I'll win it again, you know?
Yeah.
So, all right, let me see here. Give me, what are you, Miguel? All right, give me you. Give me, like, he's just picking people out of the crowd and just wins the games and whatnot. It's kind of crazy. It's like, if he were just to re-enter it, you'd be like, well, that's the team that might win it now. Like, it's just, he's another one of those people that kind of have that Tia type aura where it's like, yeah, he could be 50, and it's like, don't count him out. Let's just see how it shakes out. He might just win it, you know, because we're just used to him winning, and it's just what he does, and we're just not ready for anything else. I did like the back roll to support workout. It actually it was more exciting than you thought it was going to be,
right?
For just being just that. The whole last day kind of, I don't know, it wasn't weird, but it's like one long event, one gymnastics event, and then the final Metcon. But I guess it's just you have to put them somewhere. And then the final,
I think you're like, because you overdo it on the other days, and then it's like now it's just 3 events, and we're spacing them out.
Yeah.
Also, like there was a lot of downtime in between them that I was like, okay, this feels like I feel like I should be continuously watching now.
Yeah.
But I guess I'll leave for a few hours and maybe I'll miss it when I come back. Yeah. But yeah.
Could we have had 4 events on that day, you know, and not have had 7 the other day, you know? I don't know. I'm sure they had their reasons behind the placement of everything. Yeah. And of course, everyone and their brother and mother are going to be like, well, let's move this here. Let's do that there. I saw one thing, I think it was the barbell spin, where they're like, they wanted to do different order on some of the events. But the reasoning was that day 1 was just, they said boring, just a boring day, you know, more boring day. You got the total, you got a 7K run, you got that first old workout, then they're on the bike. So it's like all the long stuff was on that day, which I guess it's fine. Like I don't know if it changes anything if you reshuffle all 20, if James and Amy still don't come out on top. I don't really know. Do you think that matters?
Yeah, momentum wise, I don't know if, because I mean, I'm thinking the swim event. If you put the swim on a different day,
Was
does
that day
that
one
help
too?
Lucy Campbell to kind of build back her confidence?
Mm-hmm. Was that day
I
one?
don't know. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, the swim burpee workout. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they did have a complaint on that one too, on that. It's like it was like a little too generic or something, or like the burpees and swimming are often paired together. But it's like what else are you gonna do? You know, like
Right.
and we're just getting back into swimming. Let's not like
Yeah.
let's not do anything crazy there. We gotta still get back into that. But yeah, overall I enjoyed the games. I enjoyed the games what I saw last year. You know, I don't know if I've ever not enjoyed the games for just what it is, you know. So I don't have too many strong complaints, I don't think, unless I've
Yeah.
said any in the last 90 minutes. But what did you think? What was your impression of the whole thing overall, seeing the whole test?
Yeah. I think it was cool. I think it makes sense for the 20th anniversary. I would say don't do that again next year. 20 events.
Yeah. No.
Just that it was just too much. And I don't think anyone, no, we actually did have at least one withdrawal that I know of.
Oh, she's from Ireland, right?
Yeah, Lucy McGonigal.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I like the events that they did on the first day, meaning like that's the ranch run in like CrossFit Total, I think should happen. Even like bike. I think
Yeah.
those things are first day events. But you don't need that many events.
No.
So
No.
I think, yeah,
I
overall, I
think
liked what they did.
I think doing the first year's games as the first three events, or technically a little more, because each of the strength lifts were their
Yeah.
own individual score thing, was super cool. Even though it could be perceived as boring or like, why are we doing this again? You know, but I think it's cool because 20 years later, compare the scores. Look at the
Yeah.
scores from the Hopper workout, and now look at it now. I think because that's a big part of CrossFit. That's leaning into the methodology stuff on observable, measurable, repeatable, and being able to show the progress there. I think I would have liked maybe a little more like historical focus, like a
Mm,
montage of like here's who won every year, like a 30-second, 1 minute video for the men, then the women, and then like interviews with past champions and what they think about how the game has changed and how they think they would have done, other years. Like get I don't know what her some of these people I don't know what their relationship with CrossFit is anymore,
right.
but like Kristen Clever, she was the first. Well, actually, I don't think she was the first games champion for the women, but she was one of them in the early days. Like, get her out there, or show videos of them snatching at one of those original ranch games, and then show them snatching now and that speed ladder. Like,
Yeah.
I would have liked more old footage to come back in and like showing the progress of the sport and highlighting cool old moments and things like that. But again, I
Yeah.
don't know if there's like a team working on that or if it's all just like plug it in and let it go. And it does seem kind of from that perspective bland,
Yeah.
like this game it was cool, but it seemed to lack like character or
Mm,
something like that, especially for something that you think would be even more prestigious and celebratory. And maybe you got that feeling when you were there in person, but it was really hard to feel on just the streams and everything. It
right.
just seemed very just black and white, and stuff's misspelled everywhere, and just I don't know, just kind of seemed weird. And then there's some things I can watch, and other things I have to pay $30 to use Flow Elite for, which it was really weird. How was I able to watch the whole last day for free, including the final? Yeah, I would have had to pay to watch Friday and Saturday night. I don't get that, right? Does that seem weird?
It just took a lot of. I was talking to Lou about this last week actually, because I was streaming the last day, and it just felt like it took the momentum out of watching it. away.
Yeah.
Because they even did like one of the times they did the women's heat for that final event, and then the men's heat was behind the paywall. And I was
Oh,
like,
really?
this doesn't, yeah, I think on Saturday night or Friday night. And I was like, this is so weird. And you're like, you're following, and then you're like, even I'm trying to like go to these pages of like, did they post who won? Has the event finished? I don't, and then you're just
Yeah.
like, all right, I'm starting the next day. What happened on the last event? It just
Yeah.
seemed to like break the momentum in a weird way. Maybe I would have done it like the midday events were be like, oh, this special one in the next hour is going to be only on this thing. And then we start again. But I think, again, it takes out the momentum of like watching fully.
Yeah, and there's just not stuff coming out from CrossFit like you think there would be, which like on the CrossFit network, Savan's crew there, they were putting out like their behind the scenes, like day of, night
Mm,
of some events, and you were able to like watch those. And but I'm like what you said, like who won? Like what was the hopper workout? Like
right.
I'm getting behind the scenes from these other guys that are clearly there working at the games and doing stuff. They're putting out all this content. I just want to know what the hopper workout is. And then when I finally found out what the hopper workout is, I was like, well, what are the other three options that we were able to vote on? When were we voting?
Yeah.
I didn't know any of that. And then I had to dig to find it. And also, I would have, where's the video on the ceremony where they brought out the hopper? I still haven't seen that. And I would have
Right.
liked to have seen that. I don't know. It's just, it was really weird. Like they're, why is CrossFit not having the capability to put out that level of content? Yet these guys are. And why
Yeah.
aren't you? And at one point, like, why aren't you just hiring these guys just to do it if you're not going to do it? Like,
And to be honest, I don't want to watch a whole 45-minute Buttery Bros vlog to catch 5-minute highlights of a workout that I couldn't see before. Like, I'm not doing it.
yeah,
And I think they should change their name.
the Buttery Bros.
Yeah, I feel like,
I don't get it. I don't know why they're called that. I don't know the lore behind it. Do you?
and it's very much they're leaning into the puns, but I feel like once you hit a certain age as a human, you gotta let that stuff go.
They
But
can't be.
that's a whole other point. But yeah. Overall, good games.
There's going to be a symbol now. The Bros formerly Buttery, something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I don't even know. I haven't seen any of their content. I don't even know where you find that. Because it's weird. It doesn't, like, I just wait for the algorithm to give me all the
Mm.
stuff for a lot of things, and maybe it's because you're watching the other ones so often. But I'm really weird. It's weird that the Butter Bros stuff doesn't just pop up.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is their stuff good?
I haven't watched it in years. I
Oh,
can't do
okay.
the puns. I can't do it.
Oh, the jokiness and stuff like that
Yeah.
that they do. Yeah. That may be why I stopped watching too, because it gets a little cringy sometimes. But I was watching the movies they would put out. I don't know if they still do the
Yeah.
movies. They still do that.
That might be like on Patreon, maybe.
We'll see. I'm not going to pay for it either. Like that's
Right, exactly. Yeah.
so you're just eliminating me. You're just eliminating me from watching your stuff because I'm not going to pay for it. And I'm definitely not gonna, if I'm watching the women's heat and you're like, all right, now head on over to Flow Elite to watch the men's heats. I'm like, and I guess I'm done for the night.
Yeah.
I'll find out tomorrow or never because it's hard to find this stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the games, no complaints. There is a rumor that it could be coming back to Albany next year. I don't know how I feel about that at all.
I might be on vacation or something.
You might be on vacation.
Yeah.
You'd go on vacation on purpose during the games? You wouldn't want to be
Yeah, I think so.
You wouldn't want to be in the mix of it?
It's just so it's exciting, but it's also like I'm tired. And I didn't even do anything. Well, I mean, I had a wedding and then I tried to go to as many things as possible, but that's just like a lot going on.
Yeah. Well, imagine if you could just just focus on just that,
We'll see.
See, I mean, it was fun. It was exciting. There's so much action that you're just like on just adrenaline running the whole time. And you get to see all kinds of people you haven't seen in a while. So it's like a big party, but there is a lot of prep going. I feel like after having done it once, I feel like doing it again would be easier. Because we already have, like, we know it works. We have success with it,
Yeah.
But if anything, I would just try to do it more where it's like, it's just not like, I would like to do it without having 9 hours of sleep all week. Like a more enjoyable way, instead of like, this is just grindy way. All right, it's 11 o'clock at night, I'm leaving the gym because I wanted to make sure those floors were cleaned before the next guest coach the next day. There's got to be a better way to do that, So maybe if it comes back, it would be more of an enjoyable experience. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I'm okay if it not as well, and just being just because like it was very peaceful this year, being like they're dealing with that out in California, and we're just over here just worrying about, oh, I can't watch it because it's behind a paywall. I do think that I don't know. That's a partnership I don't know if anyone wants to see continue. Like, I don't know if it's even worth it, the whole paywall thing with Flow Elite. There seems to be a big discussion on that going everywhere. I don't know if it adds anything. I don't know what kind of money it can be adding for CrossFit,
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Well, till next year. And good luck to everyone at the Shatter Slam. We'll be there. And more than likely next week, that's what we'll be talking about. Recapping Shatter Slam.
Yep.
Maybe we can get some of the peeps to come on with us and talk about their experiences. And we'll just, we'll see if we were right on our predictions about the floater and all that stuff.
Cool.
I will be filming it, but it's behind a paywall. So you'll have to, it's $5.99 if you want to watch the stream. No, I'm kidding. I'm not going to do that, but that's how everything is now. All right. Well, Miguel, where can people follow you?
At Couldn't Be Miguel on Instagram.
Follow me, James A. McDermott. Follow Albany CrossFit, Albany CrossFit Barbell Club. And we'll be back reporting on the Shatter Slam next week. Later, Miguel.
See you.
End in stream.